3, 2, 1, and we're live. Hello all, and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my constipated friend Chris. Oh, poor boy. My junior friend Justin.
Hi.
My maddening friend Mycl.
What'd you say? What are you trying to say? What did you say to me?
And we are here with Dragon Age 2, Part 9. It has been a pretty mad adventure. This isn't the end, but this is literally as close as we can get to the end without being at the end. So I want to say this has been a fantastic adventure thus far. These characters started with us way back when we first started the stream, back in year 2014. 2015, 2014, right?
2015.
You know, it says on the back of the t-shirts. Anyway, they've been with us for a long time, and tonight, with the way the last game ended, it seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on tonight. So thank you for being here with us. As always, this is an 18+ show. What does that mean? That means we're probably going to say some no-no words. No-no words, such as my favorite words, listed here by Justin James.
Kumquat.
Correct. And that's the entire list. Just one, kumquat. My favorite dirty words. Now, it is an 18+ show. Stressing that it is our 18+ show, meaning we're going to say a lot of no-no words, and we're going to put each other in a lot of scenarios that might be a bit risque and 18+. But we can do that because, you know, if you don't like that, you can mute it. So let all the offensiveness come from our end only. If you don't like 18+ stuff,
I don't like when the offensiveness comes from your end because it's like...
If you don't like the 18+ content, then why the fuck are you here? No, but seriously, if you don't like it, that's fine. You close the video, you go home, you drive home, and you get in under your covers, and you say your little space. No, you do whatever the hell you want. But before you do, you make sure that you like that video. That's by giving it a big old thumbs up. We got 8 people watching, and we got 8 likes right now. That means everyone out there has done their job. Thank you guys so much. We don't put ads. We don't make you watch a 30-second video before it starts. We don't stop the action mid-through so that you can watch an ad and go buy, you know, tampons or whatever. We only ask that you like and share the video. Did you just put a tampon ad on? Who the hell did that?
I may have done that.
All we ask is that you go ahead and you like the video, subscribe if you like what you see, and share the video when you can. Already, since last week, I know a bunch of people have shared the videos that they like, their favorite videos, and that's great. Do more of that for this holiday season because it's so fun, and it helps us a lot. If you are closing the video, going back to 10 minutes ago when I was talking about it, make sure you also join the Facebook group. As well as like the Facebook page. The Facebook group is where all the cool cats hang out. It's kind of like behind the Denny's, you know? Whereas the Facebook page is kind of like inside the Denny's. It's a bit depressing, but, you know, it'll get you by and save you a bit of money. You just stop in there, you eat, but then you really go behind it to hang out and do all the cool stuff. And that's the Facebook group. When you hang out in the Facebook group, you get to talk to like-minded people and some people who aren't like-minded, and that's okay too. You get to share ideas, your stories about RPGs, your favorite INVICTUS games, as well as some interesting things. We've had a lot of, I gotta say, over the past 2 years, we've had some fantastic posts, artwork, video-esque diaries. One that comes to mind is Hunter Olsen being on his, I don't remember, Hunter, what you were talking about, to be honest, but I remember a video of you talking to the stream, and I loved it. It was awesome. And that's really what the group's about.
He also did a nice song, actually, too. Didn't he?
He did. That's right. Well, he also did well, this isn't the Hunter show. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who do a lot of cool stuff, but some come to mind more than others. And the group's where to do that. If you have videos to share, stories to share, go ahead and share it there because that's the cool place to do it. And I love to see it. We all love to see it and comment along and all that kind of stuff. And when you post in the Facebook group, you kind of put yourself in a pool, an invisible chance to win what we call the most valuable post. The most valuable post is the post of the week that we select amongst all the other posts to distinguish by giving it experience points. The experience points that you can spend in game to aid us or the enemies, such as you can do tonight, because we're going to need it. And to reward the MVP, and to explain probably a little bit about what it is in case you don't know, is my very best friend, Mr. Mycl Barber. Take her away, Mikey.
Well, thank you, Harlan. This week, once again, we had a lot of good posts. There were two in particular that stuck out. One was from Jake Ortega with a sincere update. And again, I think it really shows what a great community we have. All of you people that have joined the Facebook group and how open and caring we are towards each other and helping people live life outside of what we do here.
There's no outside.
No.
Not for you.
Chris, you stay there until Wednesday.
For you, Chris. The other one that is also what we really enjoy doing is being part of a community and building the community of role-playing and gaming and that sort of thing. So from Love Von Almquist, he had a good question, a good post about DM planning. How much do you plan versus, and how do you balance that story-wise with letting the characters remain and the players have free choice? And I thought that was a really good one. We got a lot of really great feedback from the community as well, giving their insights of how they balance and maintain that illusion of freedom.
Yeah. Illusion is very strong in my games.
This week's most valuable post is going to Love Von Almquist.
It was a very good post, and I commented on myself with my own meandering thoughts, very unarticulated and nonsensical, as always. And I think Justin shared a little bit of his more well-thought-out thoughts. How long did it take you to post that novel of a comment, Justin?
17 hours.
I figured. So you trimmed down your normal commenting time.
Yes.
That makes me feel better. Anyway, so well done, Love. Well done, Love. Very good.
Well done, Love.
Very good. I don't know what accent that was. It was a bit Indian. Well done, Love. Very good. Keep going.
Indian guy who learned how to speak English from a British.
Well, Indian, British. I was gonna say it's pretty synonymous. It goes hand in hand. So anyway, well done, Love. That's so funny to say. Well done, Love. You earned it. Honestly, it was a fantastic post. Well done. And Mike touched on it, and again, shout out to Jake. Jake, your video was awesome. I know you're not here with us tonight, or you said you don't think you'd be here with us tonight. But for anyone who hasn't seen Jake's video, go ahead and check it out. And he kind of gives a little bit of history on where he was, and it was sort of a personal post, and I'm glad he shared it, because that's what the Facebook group's about. I mean, it's not necessarily, and it's funny because I made fun of safe spaces before, literally before, like when we started this. And it's not. I mean, it's not a place where your opinion is never going to be, judged, or if you say I hate this movie and it's a Kevin Costner movie, you better bet your ass you're gonna get a lot of flack. But
and
at
support.
the same time, and what?
And support.
That's right. You're gonna get a lot of support. But at the same time, it's it's not really a place where you have to feel afraid to give an opinion or to tell people about what you're going through or your life. While at the same time, it's not a place to vent all your frustration. So, walk the line, guys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to be here with Part 9. This is something that Justin has worked tirelessly crafting and really piecing together. So let's give him a pre-round of applause. We always applaud him at the end, but sometimes it's a lot easier to finish if you get a good start, if you know what I mean. So I want to give him all of the credit at the beginning this time. Next game is, of course, going to be the last game for Dragon Age and the last campaign game of the year. Following that game, we're going to be doing a XP Extravaganza game, which is going to be after Christmas on the 28th, the last game of the year. It's going to be wacky. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. We're going to have some special guests. And it's going to be a really weird one because, frankly, we're just probably going to be drinking because it's like we're all off work in our various forms, I should say, and we all like a good drink on a holiday weeknight. So prepare to be weirded come the 28th. Also, I want to mention that the next game is usually a shorter game for anyone, because I know we've got a lot of new people joining during this campaign. The 10th game is usually split between the actual game, and then we're going to do a post-game discussion. So if you have questions, what happened to this character, or Justin, how did you think about this, or Chris, what does Penth really mean, and what is his favorite color? That's the time to ask all those questions, and there's going to be a specific post where you can post those questions, and it's going to be a lot more interactive rather than this typical show you see. So just for the people who have watched and joined of recent, because you might not know how we do it. That is enough for me, because I am eager as a beaver in the Cleaver's house to go ahead and play this game. So without further ado, I'm going to throw it back to my second best friend, Justin, to take it away. Dragon Age 2, Part 9.
Second
my first best friend. I was just about to say. I knew,
He already said it to Mike, so it would have been congruency problems.
All right, here we go. Ashara's eyes open slightly as she's dragged through the flap of a large tent and roughly thrown to the muddy ground. She winces from the impact, but immediately struggles to free herself from her binds. Before she can, someone is on her again. Whoever it is strong and gets a good grip on her arm, trying to pin her down. Her mouth still gagged, she shouts fiercely, bringing her head up swiftly and bashing it into the temple of her assailant. He stumbles back, instinctively releasing his grip on her. With all her might, she rolls up on her back and smashes her still bound feet into his stomach. Winded, he falls to the ground, and Ashara immediately takes the opportunity to rip the thick twine around her wrists. It is dense, but if she can only find something sharp to cut it with. The flap opens again, this time welcoming 3 newcomers. 2 of them look like the one savage brute that she just fought off, bald, elven, and shirtless to showcase their blood-red tattoos. The third elf, however, is taller than the others, donning a grimy, blood-red robe and a jagged, angular amulet hanging from his neck. They see her on the ground, and immediately the 2 savages rush to her and pin her down again. The tall one stands before her as she is pinned helplessly by the others, and to her disgust, he begins to chuckle, revealing jagged, sharpened teeth. He shakes his head and kneels down before her. Tribal drums begin to sound in the distance, and as she lay there, unable to move, unable to cast, unable to even spit, Ashara isn't sure what she finds more horrifying. The putrid, insidious smile of the man moving toward her, or the fact that she recognizes him. In an eerily calm voice, he speaks. My, Ashara. And here I thought I'd only be reunited with my son today. Grinner. You stand around the fire, the bodies of the savages lying in the mud. The sound of crickets and other bog creatures are filling the night air. You're with Aldo Lancaster, the Templar, Elzombra, the Shadow, and Penth. Everyone else is dead, except for Imogen and Ashara, who you don't know where they are.
Let him go. He's pissed off right now, and that's fine. And I turn to Elzombra and Lightbringer. Sorry, what was his name?
Lancaster. Aldo Lancaster.
Aldo. And I turn to Aldo and I say, we had agreed not to bring Elzombra with us, and I hired him without his knowledge. I am referencing why Penth just walked off to the darkness.
Right. Well, it hardly seems a concern right now. We're all on the same side.
I understand that, but there's going to be some hostility here. Listen, Imogen needs our help. You now understand what's at stake here. This isn't as simple as just cutting off his head and ridding the world of evil. Whoever kills him, and I turned to Elzombra because Elzombra wasn't privy to the conversation earlier. Whoever kills Imogen runs the risk of having whatever's inside of him use their own body, and I believe it is Grindelwald.
I have never heard of this Grindelwald. I've read many tomes about magical demons and creatures from the Fade, and this does not sound familiar to me in the slightest.
And I start walking as I kind of stoop down to brush some of the mud off my leg, and I walk over to the bodies and just very quickly search them before catching up to Penth, and I tell him the story. We were hired 5 months back by a man named Renner and his friend Gil, a friend of mine, to find a amulet, the Windstar amulet. And it was said to be held by a very powerful mage named Grindelwald at the top of Blacksleet Tower. When we got there, he wasn't there, and Gil had betrayed us. Long story short, whatever Gil awakened in that tower got out. And somehow he knows about me. And that's about all I know about him. So that's all any of us know about him.
And he's taken control of this boy?
He's taken control of my friend, I say as I continue searching the bodies.
So, Zero, and he looks over at the body of the elf that was working with him. Zero seemed to think that if we did kill him, we would become possessed ourselves. How do we know that your friend isn't already possessed, even in his peaceful state?
I think for whatever reason, Grindelwald hasn't completely achieved the power he wants within Imogen. Put it this way, we traveled with him a very far way, and either one of two possibilities exists. One, that he is fighting him when he can and taking control of his body when he can. And that's the best of the two options. The negative one, and I kind of look in the direction of Penth now that he's gone, and I turn back. It's a scenario that I hadn't considered before. And it was that Grindelwald is fully aware of everything that's going on and just choosing to lay dormant until he wants to act.
And Penth, what are you doing?
So frustrated by Grinner and what has happened, the mistrust that I have now. I have but one choice, one action, and that is to find Imogen. It's the only thing that I have left is my promise to Imogen to help him. So I'm trying to look for tracks, anything, direction.
Okay, so go ahead and do a searching roll. And Grinner, you can do the same while you look for the bodies.
Okay. Oh, not well. Doesn't really matter, but
I got 10.
Okay, at 10. So Penth, you look around, but the ground is too muddy and too wet, and it's too dark, and it's hard to make heads or tails of anything. You need the help of a good tracker. Whereas Grinner is successful in finding something. But we're going to jump to... Oh, okay. Sorry. So Grinner is there.
just had these on the printer. I had to grab them.
So you do actually find something. You find a satchel next to the body of the mage, who Aldo calls Zero.
And there's no pride here. And I hold it right up to Aldo. And I say, do you recognize this?
Yeah, that's Zero's satchel. There might be some useful things inside. He won't be of any use to us anymore.
And I quickly sort of tear into it as I start walking towards where Penth went.
You find 5, well, actually 6 potions. 5 of them you recognize as health potions, and one of them looks like it might be a mana potion. Lyrio.
Okay. And as I'm walking with Aldo, he's not a Templar. What are their names?
He is a Templar. He is
Templar.
a Knight Lieutenant of the Templars.
So as I'm walking, I hand him the mana potion. Because
Yeah.
they use mana, do they not, or magic?
Yep, they do, for their defenses, I believe.
Okay. Well, I hold it and I say, do you need this?
He says, I'm doing all right now, but I could hold on to it just in case we run into something.
Yeah, you might as well. And again, hesitancy with Imogen. I don't know what state. For all I know, Imogen's lost to Grindelwald. And from here on out, we're fighting him only. So
while this is happening, Grinner, while you find this, Elzombra has stepped over to where Penth is. And he looks up at Penth and says, You seem to be having some difficulty finding some tracks. I could be useful in this area.
Yeah, maybe you should go help Grinner find them then. I keep looking.
And he's going to go ahead and take a look anyways. And he says, very well. It is difficult to see in these conditions, but I'm sure that if we're all looking, we will be able to find something. So, Grinner, you go ahead and do a roll as well.
Okay, this is for the tracks.
Yeah, and Penth, you can do another one.
So 12. And what am I adding? Perception?
Yeah, perception's searching.
So 15.
Okay.
I got 13.
13. So, Penth, you start to see a pattern forming in the direction, but you're not quite able to make it out. But as you're looking there, Grinner notices you and finds what you were getting close to.
And I point in front of him and I say, they go this way. And then I start heading that direction.
And you hear Aldo's armor clink and his boots squish in the mud as he follows.
Yeah, I'll walk and I'll be like, can you not walk a little lighter?
I'll do my best, but this armor wasn't made for stealth.
Well, maybe, I don't know what we're going into, but my logic tells me we might need to be sneaking.
What is your plan with Imogen? I ask Aldo as he walks past me with Grinner.
Well, we need more information. At this point, we really don't know much about his powers. We don't know whether or not this Grindelwald controls him at the moment. So if he is an elven boy, I'm sure that we will be able to reason with him. But if he's a demon, then we'll have to figure something out. I'm hoping that we'll be able to come across a mage. Maybe they'd be able to help us out. If the boy is in his right mind, maybe he will know what to do.
Shara is with him, and she should be powerful enough to stop him if she can.
Ashara? This was the mage
Ashara,
that you were with.
She was the one trying to hold him back, yeah.
All right, well, you must have seen something that I didn't, because I don't remember. I haven't seen them at all since the battle.
No, I don't necessarily think... Well, put it this way, this is the path that they were taken on. And this is the path we need to follow right now. But I do think... I don't want to ask you to remove your armor, Aldo, but if you can't walk lighter, you could reveal our position. That's something I don't think we can risk right now.
Well, maybe he does not need to take it off. Maybe he could stay back a little bit. The people who are not as skilled in stealth stay a little bit further back, and we will send them a signal once we find them.
I think that'd be actually really good. Conceal our numbers. They don't know how many of us are alive or dead, and at the very least having an additional person to help us when the time comes, like Alzambra, would be beneficial. Is that okay with you, Aldo?
I can agree to that, yeah.
You don't happen to have any Templar friends nearby, do you? Any outposts?
Unfortunately not. This isn't a governed area of land. We don't have much jurisdiction over this area.
Is there not anyone that would be in proximity to aid us? No Avarian down here, as I say, turning to Pent.
Not in this area. Doubt that there'd be any of ours this far from Ferelden.
There were 6 of us in that room in that house trying to stop Grindelwald. And he killed 2 in front of our eyes, left 2 bloody.
Grinner, there was not 6 of us trying to stop Grindelwald.
Trying to remember now.
Not that your name was off. I wasn't trying to stop him. I was trying to stop the people attacking him. Oh,
that's right. Well, then are we now trying to stop him? And I actually that's a good point. I stop walking and I say, well, what is our plan now? Are we going to kill Imogen? How do we stop Grindelwald?
Well, that's what we should be doing. We should be trying to stop Grindelwald, whatever this being is. Obviously, we can't kill Imogen.
We need to help Imogen find his father. We need to help him follow his visions. The only person who knows and can stop Grindelwald is Imogen.
There may be others that would be able to help us.
Who?
Grinner, you remember that encampment that we came across that one night?
Yeah. The Tal of Shoth and the other man.
That is right. Though I do not know of their intentions. Perhaps they will see this as a greater cause and will side with us.
Or they could be here trying to aid whatever's inside Imogen to get out.
We do not know. It is a risk. But if we run into them, we will find out.
If we do find Imogen and he is still possessed or taken over by Grindelwald, what is our course of action?
And Aldo and Elzombra look around, unsure.
And I turn to Penth.
I have to kill him. He's not going to be trapped as in his own flesh.
You want to kill the boy?
I want to free the boy, yes.
Zero seemed to think that by killing the boy, you would become possessed yourself. I cannot advise that as a course of action.
Is there a way that anyone would know about to completely immobilize him? Cast a spell of sorts? Would your sleeping tranquilizer darts do anything on the boy, or is he completely separate than his body's actions?
I do not know. I have never dealt with a possession before.
Aldo, is there any magic you might know that would bind? You must deal with dangerous mages all the time. What spells do you have to bind them?
I don't so much deal with spells myself. I deal more with being able to resist the magical influence against my mind.
Fair enough.
That's my power as a Templar.
Do you know of any spell that a mage would know that could capture another mage? I mean, Zero was with you. He must have had some sort of binding spell in case a particularly powerful mage came across.
And he looks thoughtfully and says, you might be able to use a dispel magic on him to weaken the power. I imagine that's what Zero and, what do you say your name was? Ashara? I believe that's what they were doing in the cabin when we fought him. It subdued him.
Well, I guess we don't have any mages with us, so unless Ashara is still alive and all right and willing to help, that's our only course of action, other than trying this tranquilizer, which I think would be a logical first step if we find Imogen, if he's possessed.
You give me the word, and I will do my best.
All right, then let's find Imogen.
Imogen. Cohen paces before you. He's just lashed out at you. Fuck your friends. I don't give a shit about any of them. Imogen, I'm here for you, and you alone. And for what you
Colin, that's not
represent.
good enough for me. I trusted you. You said that I could control this thing, and now look at how many people were killed because of me, because I listened to you.
But look at you now.
I want to get back to Grinner and Penth right now. And I just turn and start walking away.
Imogen.
I don't even know what direction I'm going. I just start walking.
Imogen, stop. Do a willpower roll.
I don't walk because, sorry, Ashara is still there, right?
No, Ashara's gone.
Oh, she
Ashara
was
was carried away.
Right. So I head off in the direction that Ashara was carried.
So do a willpower roll. Constitution stamina.
Constitution, stamina. I like self-discipline better. All right. All right. I have a lovely 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. You begin to walk away, and suddenly you hear a humming noise as the orb floats in front of you, glowing green, and you freeze, unable to move. And you hear Cohen walking behind you. Imogen, I need you to listen to me. What happened at the cabin, what happened to your friends, is unfortunate. And at this point, he rounds in front of you, and you can see him, and he gets within inches of your face. It was unfortunate, but it was a necessary step in being able to control the demon within you. And it was also a necessary step for me to learn as much about that being as I possibly could. You see, I have been learning and observing it, and I now know what it is. It's no demon. You have the power of a god flowing through you, Imogen. One of the old gods that was banished away from the Maker into the Fade now returns. The fact that you survived that possession means that you now have the power to control him. You now have the power to exact revenge on the people that have harmed you and your people. You can now bring the Chantry and the Templars to their knees. Speak. And you feel, though you cannot move, your mouth is able to, you're able to speak.
I no longer wish to do that, Cohen. I'm not going to bring the tower down to its knees. I've seen that good can come of the tower. Maybe it's not what I thought at first, but Ashara is a very decent elf. She does good for people. She does what she
The
can
girl.
to help.
I should have killed her when I had the chance.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted you. See, you... Let me out of here. Let me go find Grinner and Pent. Just get away from me before I will let this god loose and destroy you both.
You feel a big hand fall on your shoulder. We could just kill him, Cohen. That's right. If we were to kill him, the power would fill me. Isn't that right, Imogen? Grindelwald would possess me as the new host.
Yes, and Grindelwald would probably end up killing yourself the way I almost killed myself, because there's too much power for anyone to control.
Well, maybe that's a risk I'm willing to take. What do you
You're an
think,
idiot.
Orc?
You're an arrogant prick.
And he slaps you across the face. Backhand.
And I would
I
do this
you-
if I could move, but I won't, so I will take it.
You can do another Constitution stamina roll.
And I will fail again with the exact same fail that I had last time.
I give you a chance, boy. A chance to be more powerful than you could ever imagine. And this is how you repay me. Your insolence.
Well, maybe it's time you listen to others. Maybe you need to understand what you're dealing with. In your arrogance, you're overstepping your bounds. This is a god. No one can control this. Think, man. What value is there in containing a god and letting the god lose who you are in the process? You can't control this. No one can control this. You
Do a
think you're going...
communication persuasion.
So 9.
9. Do you want to ask the stream for any assistance on that? Or do you want to leave them as they lay?
Well, the stream's kind of saying leave it up to the gods half the time, so it's not very helpful.
I'm sure they'd want to help. Let's see if there's anybody out there that wants to help poor old little Imogen with his role. Comment under the like for XP. If I see someone typing right now. It says someone is typing a comment. It says ... It says someone is typing a comment. Someone is typing a comment right now. Let's see what they're going to say. Oh, it's so close. It's just about to post. I'm going to post all over your face.
Anticipation's killing me.
What? Sorry.
It felt like he was like right in my
What's the big guy's name
ear.
again?
Say that again, Michael.
What's the big guy's name again?
Grindelwald?
Go
No,
on.
no, no.
No, the
Conan and
12
Rourke. Rourke.
Rourke?
Mickey.
Rourke?
Mindy.
Ricky.
Rourke.
Mickey.
Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke.
Yes.
Rourque.
Rouke.
So while
Jerk.
Imogen
Someone-
is trying to convince Cohen,
Yep.
Grinner, and
Okay.
Pep.
While someone is typing a comment forever.
Sorry. Can I just try
Oh, yeah.
one? Okay. So even though I can't move, Rourke.
Paul gave it XP to Imogen. There you
Beautiful.
go.
All
Thank
right.
you, Paul.
So go ahead and you rolled
Oh,
1-6.
2.
I don't want to be like the skeptic. Does Paul even have 5 XP?
622.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he does.
Isn't it like Paul? Okay, we'll say yes.
Bernhardt.
So
Where's
He's
my
got, he's
miracle?
got
Rourke.
tons of XP.
think, man, you're afraid of magic so much you wouldn't even let me
Michael,
heal
needs
you.
some.
You didn't even want good magic to come at you. And you trust Cohen enough to let a god inside of him, a god that you've seen can destroy people in a thought? Is this really the path that you want to take?
You feel a hand squeeze on your shoulder. And he says, "It isn't my choice to make."
How can it be? How can you not want free choice? At least while you have it. You won't have free choice when there's a god involved, that's for sure.
Imogen, you raise a good point. What do you suppose we should do about this god then? What do you think is the solution?
It's about time he starts channeling his inner Grinner. Keeps channeling his inner Penth. Now he's starting to communicate.
Punch him, Imogen.
Well, he did. He
Lord.
started off with that, and then he went to the other route.
Please trust in Grinner, trust in Penth. We're on the right path to destroy this god. And then afterwards, seek all the power you want, but seek it on your own terms.
This god could be a threat to the order. Cohen, what say you? And Cohen looks very thoughtful. As we go to Grinner and Penth, who are trudging through the thick mud and the forest between the trees.
Quietly, of course. And now Aldo is hung back, correct?
Aldo has hung back, and Elzombra has gone into more of like a flanking position, moving parallel with you.
So it's just Penth and I.
Just Penth and you. So you continue forward, and Grinner, I want you to do a perception roll, unless you wanted some role playing.
He doesn't need to roll to know how pissed off I am, Justin, if that's what the perception roll is for.
I look
Okay.
over at Penth. No. Oh, well, I look over at Penth and I see you're pissed off. And I look back forward and I keep walking. Actually, no. You know what? I keep walking. I say, in a pissed off tone myself, and I say, "You know what, Penth? I'm done explaining my actions to you. You can be pissed off all you want. But at the end of the day, I did what I felt was right, and you would have done no differently. I'm not going to dance around you anymore and pretend that I need to make sure everything's okay with you. Because at the end of the day, I know what I did was the right call."
I've tried to talk to you in the way that I know best, but that didn't work. I even tried to communicate with you in the way that I thought you communicated, but that doesn't work. What I realized, Grinner, is that I can't trust you, especially for someone I can't understand, and I can't understand you. We had an agreement.
I asked your opinion on something, and I stop as I say this. I asked your opinion on something because I value your opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do what you think is right blindly. Elzombra saved us back there, and he saved us because I allowed him to come, and I allowed him to come because I thought it was the right thing to do. If you disagree with that, then you'd be dead. And I walked past him.
How did Elzombra save us back there?
And I stopped.
What way did he save us, Grinner?
We were tied up, completely unable to move and knocked out, until Elzombra came from the bushes, killed the 2 men that were carrying me to the fire, cut my binds, allowed me to kill the man who was hovering over your lifeless or your unconscious body, ready to cut you open. There were 7 or 8 people back there. You didn't realize that you were standing over the bodies of maybe 5 dead, as well as the 2 that were carrying me there?
You justify your actions by saying that the outcome came because we are alive.
That's the only way I can justify my actions. And you know what? Yes. It was the right call. And you don't have to like it, but it was the right call.
Perhaps
And you know what? And you know what, Pent? And I take a step towards him. And you didn't like it only because it wasn't your call. Because you can't honestly stand there and tell me the fact that he saved our lives, that it was the wrong call. Because at the end of the day, he saved us. So how can you honestly stand there and pretend that?
On my chest.
No, I'm not touching you.
That sounded like
I'm not touching you. No, I'm doing one of these in the air. And you can't honestly tell me that it was the wrong call because it's the only reason you're standing here right now. So if you are so right, if you are so convinced, if you are so proud that you can't admit that what you decided way back in the end was the wrong call and that I did the right thing, then how are you any better than the people you just left behind? The Avarians, the people who are so convinced of what is right or wrong that there is no gray area, something that you and I have seen nothing but over the past 6 months.
Do you think I'm better than the Avarians?
I think you think that your call was the right call, regardless of the fact that we're standing here right now.
It has nothing to do with the right or wrong call. It has to do with the fact that I trusted you and the fact that you lied to my face.
I never lied to you.
You did lie to me. We agreed upon something. We agreed not to. We planned together. We agreed not to.
I asked you.
Because I did not trust him.
Exactly. I didn't say that I would not have him. I asked you what you thought. And I asked you, and I said we would make the call together. But I never lied to you. I never said that
we make a call together and we are in agreement, and you go back on it, that is something I cannot trust.
The agreement was to have him with us in the party. He was not with us in the party. I hired him for a completely different task of shadowing us in case something should happen. And you know what? Had nothing ever happened, you never would have known about it. But the fact that he did, the fact that he saved our lives, is the only reason you're upset. And if at this point, Pent, for all the time that we've known each other, if you don't think you can trust me to do things that you might not like but would save our lives or better us as a group, as a family, then fair enough. That's on you. But I'm done explaining it. I'm done trying to guide you through this world. If you want to go on your own, then that's fine. You go on your own. But I'm going to get Imogen back because he's my friend and he's my family. And all the shit that he's put us through, I would still stand by him. And I take a few steps down the road as a cat meows in the distance.
A jungle cat.
I'll roll perception as well.
Okay.
Which was 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 3, 14.
You think you notice something. Light coming through the trees. Not too far ahead.
There's a light coming through the tree. It's not too far ahead.
Yeah,
there's a clearing up ahead. And I crouch down and I begin to approach.
Penth, you stand there in the darkness. You see Grinner walk away as he declares that there's a clearing ahead. What are you thinking? What do you feel?
Grinner was really the first lowlander that I talked to, and I did not understand him. I did not understand him when I fought him from just outside the cave that we stayed. And I thought I was beginning to understand him, but now he doesn't even speak plainly to me, so I thought I understood the Emir. I thought that it was clear that we worked as a clan, we provided for one another, we looked after each other. But I don't have faith in that either. So I'm feeling very tumultuous right now. I don't really have two legs to stand on, because Grinner's right. It probably was the reason I'm still alive, but do I even value that? What do I value? I value the fact that we were communicating, we were working together. I've lost my honor as a Emir. What difference does it make if I die? Death is the only thing that stayed constant. Death took away Nikoru, the one man who saved me. Death is came for half those people that were in that room. Death is the only constant I know right now. It's the only thing that I can rely on. Not my clan, not Grinner, just death. And so I keep walking.
Perfect. Grinner, as you make your way towards the clearing, you're haunted by thoughts. Again, flashes of memory that are intruding on your mind at this very inopportune time, inciting fear in you. You see flashes of the boy from your vision. The boy with his hand up, Mycl whispering into his ear. You have a flash of this purple orb with the 3 upside down crosses. You have a flash of Mycl's laughing face. And before you know it, you're at the edge of the clearing. And you stop yourself because you're about to step out.
Can I roll willpower?
Yes.
Can I use my courage bonus?
Yep.
Because I'm gonna fucking need it. God damn. Oh man, that's really bad. So, 3 is my willpower plus my courage, so that's +5. So that's 9, 10, 11. Actually, not the worst.
Could be worse. Okay. And why are you rolling willpower?
Courage, because you said I was stricken by fear.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to take a second and realize that these thoughts that have consumed me as of late with my dreams, as well as what I've deduced from Penth's dreams, from him talking about his fears, as well as Imogen and Faust. No, what was my other buddy's name? I forgot. Karthus. And Karthus, who was talking about his sort of own struggles, I've kind of started to switch my thinking to understand that whatever's been pumped into our brains as of late is something that is unnatural. It's not natural fear. And I use my courage to get on top of it and understand, yes, I am afraid of this past, but this is something that's being falsified in my brain to try to get me to stop whatever I'm doing.
You clear your head and you slowly raise it to look into the clearing. And you see a Talvishoth standing far into the field with his hand on Imogen's shoulder. And there's another man in front of him, a man who's too far away, but he's facing you.
He's facing me?
He's facing your direction.
Oh,
the
okay.
Talvishoth has his back to you.
I want to stay hidden and I want to watch.
Okay.
With my... Well, no, I can draw my bow instantaneously. And I do want to watch, and I kind of want to turn around and see where Penth is.
Okay. And as you turn around, you see Penth not too far away, maybe 20 yards away.
What do I see, Justin?
You see Grinner crouching down and turning back to you.
I obviously would interpret that to mean that there's something ahead. I need to be ready. So I will go in full awareness. I will crouch up to where Grinner stood and crouch behind him. I say, "What is it?"
And I
look.
Say, yeah, Talvishoth.
Do they have Imogen?
Yes, the guy has him in front of him.
Imogen. You start to feel pins and needles in your limbs as the spell begins to wear off. Cohen is still thoughtful. Yes, Grindelwald would be a threat to Thedas. So if he cannot be controlled, then he should be destroyed. That is the most important thing. We do not want to risk an abomination, now do we? But then again, if he can be controlled, and he looks at you thirstily, Imogen, then maybe it would all be worth it. Worth the risk. And he continues to contemplate. Do you have any more arguments, Imogen?
Cohen, please, listen to yourself. Use your own logic. You said you've had the chance to observe, and you've gained a little bit more knowledge about what you're up against and what you're trying to control. You know more than anyone through the path that you've chosen in life how dangerous a little bit of knowledge can be. You've seen just the tip, just a smidgen of power, and that's with people trying to control him. Ashara was working to hold back his power. There was another elf there that was there trying to and working to control Grindelwald. That was
hear all this? Can we hear all this, or is he saying it in his?
You can hear it. Yeah, you can hear it all.
Okay.
Go on,
Cohen. You're smarter than this. You've seen what it is constrained. That was me fighting. That was 3. And you know that Ashara and the other elf, they were both circle mages. They have training. They have discipline. Do not let your thirst for power consume you when you know that you've only got a smidgen of knowledge.
He begins to pace again. You can see him thinking this through.
What is the posturing of the people around Imogen? What do they look like? Are they...
the Talvashoth is bigger than you are. Very muscly, wearing heavy mail. He's got a big warhammer on his back. And he stands maybe 2 heads taller than Imogen. And now the other one you can see.
I'm only like 4'8".
Oh, yeah, even taller. He's like 7 feet tall. And Cohen, you can't really see him too well. Grinner, what were you thinking?
As we're sitting in the kind of things, because I get where Pent is coming from, and I can kind of see him gearing up for war. And I kind of put a hand on his shoulder and I say, I think Imogen might be right here. And I kind of point to Cohen walking. And can I do a perception on sort of how he's reacting to the information?
Sure, yeah. Do a perception check. Kind of like Marksman Eagle Eye or something.
Yeah, like I'm sort of trying to see what's up. So 4, 8, 9 plus, if I'm doing perception, it's only 3. So 12. Oh, no, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12. Okay. So you look up again, and now that he's pacing back and forth, you have a chance to see his face, illuminated by a temporary glow of moonlight through the overcast sky. And as the moon strikes his face, you are hit again with this overwhelming fear, because he is the exact same face as Malik.
Oh my God. So as I have my hand on Pent, I'm telling him basically what my rogue sense is, and I'm saying Imogen has the right idea here. I think this is a man who has doubt. I can hear it in his voice. I think we can aid him in convincing these people until I see his face, and I stop tapping Pent, and I just stare for a second. That man needs to die. We need to take him out first. Can you take the Talvashoth?
I already start walking, dragging my axe.
No. Hold. If we can pick him off first, he's a very powerful mage. If we can kill him.
Can I kill the Talvashoth?
If you can take the Talvashoth, if you can distract him, I can take out that mage.
I can kill the Talvashoth.
All right.
I pulled my bow out. I pull it back to shoot at the Tabletop. And I want to walk towards the Tabletop and fire my arrow at him as I walk towards him.
Okay. Are you doing it stealthily, or are you just
full out walking towards him?
And as Pent is walking, I'm slinking to the shadows and going for a flanking position on Cohen, who I now know is Malik.
Okay.
And I'm keeping the conversation going. Cohen, you know history. Think, man, how many wars have been fought? How many wars have been waged? Or a little bit of knowledge? How many millions of lives have been lost due to someone having a little bit of knowledge? Don't give in. Think.
How many empires have risen?
And how many have fallen because of the arrogance of one man having a little bit of knowledge?
Why should I be afraid of knowledge? It has done great things.
It's not the knowledge you need to be afraid of. It's the knowledge that you know now. You can't control it. This is a god. They don't become gods because they can be controlled by man.
You are living proof that it can be controlled, Imogen. You survived that attack, that possession. You can do it. Listen.
Grindelwald needs to be destroyed. There's no other way. You seek power, seek it, but seek it elsewhere. Seek it where you can make a name for yourself, where people can tremble in fear from you, but don't seek it under Grindelwald. That's not you. You want to be a god, then do it on your own terms. Should you get this, Grindelwald, that won't be you. What will you have accomplished? Nothing but sending loose a god. It won't be your Embriar. It will be Grindelwald's.
Shut up! Shut
No, it's true.
up! And you feel Rourke's hand tighten on your shoulder. And Cohen begins to fume in front of him as he's battling something. And battling your words that obviously have this weight. Cohen, what would Malik do? I don't give a fuck what he would do. He's not with me anymore. All right? Rourke, this is me. This is my decision alone.
Oh, and as I'm creeping through the shadows, I stop. And I see Penth walking towards, and I go, oh, fuck.
And Penth.
I pull the bow string back to the point where I can feel the wood starting to splinter in my hand. And I think in my head what
No, you know what I
said.
do? Oh, sorry. Okay, but this is really important. The minute I heard that, I would draw my bow in an instant, seeing Penth draw his bow, and I would fire an arrow at the bow in Penth's hand, trying to stop him.
This could go really bad for you.
I know, but
very badly.
I know, but I think I would do that because it's like a revelation. Malik is the biggest bad I've ever known. He deserves to die. This man just said he's not, and I'm like, oh my god. And I don't think we can take them out. It was more of a vengeance kill, but now I realize it's not. So I think I would, in an instant, be like, oh god, and fire the bow. Just the this part right before he strings it back to knock it out of his hand if I can.
Okay.
So again, I'm
that is
pulling the bow
what
back, and I can feel the wood starting to splinter in my head. I've never pulled the string this hard, and I don't care if it breaks. I'm going to lay that arrow into his flesh as deep as I can. But in my mind, I'm thinking what Grinner said to me in the dart room, saying, finesse, not strength. And I pull the bowstring back even further to use more strength.
Oh, against me. And actually, sorry, not the bow. I'm gonna try to sever the string.
Are you using a fire arrow?
It's fire charged, but that doesn't. I think it's just adds damage, nothing else.
All right.
But I'm gonna try to sever the string.
Okay.
And I'm gonna need a bonus from the community.
You're definitely going to need a bonus. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very challenging.
Severing a string. This is Robin Hood shit.
In dark, like I'm going to make it like DC of 18, target number 18.
I know, but this is going to be interesting. Does anyone want to give me a little bit of XP? Because this is so important. Because I do think, knowing now what I know, like my thinking was I was ready to fucking
don't give
die
it to him,
kill this
guys. He's gonna do this on his own.
Mike Kyle. Thank you, Mike. So that gives me an additional die. What does it do? Or let me
No, you can re-roll one of your die. So go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. This is going to be aiming.
18.
Okay,
Yep,
so it's +8 for aiming. Okay. Oh, 6.
So 20. So you actually do get, and you get 2 stunt points.
Oh. So hearing the name hearing him say, Malik's not with me anymore, like it washes over me, and I realize, oh my God, like I don't know. And it's interesting the parallels between Penth and Greener, because this was very reactive of me, and I didn't think it through, and it was not Penthian, but it was very much sort of built out of reactionary, and I was like, no. And I realized my mistake, and without hesitating, I draw my bow, I fire it at the string in front of Penth as it sings through the night and just splits the string in Penth's arms, which would be very interesting. Maybe he would, no, I guess you would know it was an arrow. I was gonna say, you don't, maybe you'd think you broke the string, but no, I don't, I think you probably know. And then what I'm gonna do is the minute the arrow is out, I'm going to run full speed towards Penth to try to interrupt him from most likely firing at me.
Hold on a second. So I had an arrow fly at me, and now you're running towards me?
Yes. Well, because I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to
This
stop
is all going
attack.
to alert them. This is all going to alert them. So the arrow flies through the air and snaps the string.
Yeah.
And as soon as the arrow flies, you see like the grip on Imogen's shoulder releases, and Rourke begins to turn around as Grinner.
I bolt out, even better than I bolt out towards them.
Okay.
I didn't realize it would for sure alert them. I wasn't sure how far away he was. Like I kind of thought maybe he was like on the edge of the clearing, that we would get our own little interaction before we got into this. But if we do, I'm just going to slap my bow back on my back, and I'm going to run out towards them with my hands drawn, my hands up.
Okay.
Because now I'm back on the side with Imogen thing.
So I snap my bow on my knee and throw the pieces to the ground, and I pick up my axe off my back, and I start walking towards them all the same.
And so when that happens, yeah, 2 things happen with Cohen and Rourke. Rourke, in speed that doesn't seem to suit him, spins around very quickly, his hammer drawn, and he's getting ready to charge. And Cohen disappears.
Okay. I want to be screaming as I'm doing this. Stop, 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 stop. I'll even like peel in on my knees, like sliding in a home base, as close as I can to Imogen with my hands over my head. And I'm going to say, stop, everybody stop, to Penth as I can too, even though he's just like super pissed right now. Can I roll communication?
You roll communication.
Perfect. So 5, 10, 12 plus 6. So 18.
So Rourke takes 2 steps towards you, bringing his warhammer up, but then begins to lower it. And he stands tall above you. And he just glares at you, unsure of what to do.
I just want to speak to Cohen. I know you're here.
And Imogen, what do you do? Imogen is muted.
Mm.
Okay, my first reaction is that I want to kill them all, but I'm not going to. So I'm just standing there furious that once again I was held prisoner, both by Cohen's spell and by Rourke. And although I want to take the legs out from under Rourke, I can see what Grinner is trying to do.
And I'm locking eyes with Imogen too, just kind of like looking at him. I'm slowly nodding at you, like you were doing the right thing.
And I'm just going to, I will just get ready to get on. Well, I'll take a defensive action, defend action, just so that I'm prepared for something.
Looks like your friends have arrived. You hear the voice kind of cut through the air, not sure of where it's coming from.
Please, Cohen, listen to them.
Cohen,
it's the only way we're all going to get through this.
I know you as a man named Malik.
You know me as a man named Malik?
Yeah.
That's impossible. I am not Malik.
Well, that's the name you introduce yourself to me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. When this is all going down, Where the hell am I now?
Yeah, what's Pent doing?
You're there. You're like walking
I
towards
walked
them.
up, and I'm quite pissed off at Grinner right now. He shot an arrow at me. And now he wants to talk some more to these people holding Imogen captive. So I'm going to take a swing at the big guy.
At Rourke?
Yeah.
He does see you coming, and he does see that you're not looking as peaceful as Grinner.
That's fine. I'm not as peaceful as Grinner.
It misses, actually. He looks to be in a full defensive stance.
Yeah.
And you holds up his hammer and blocks your blow. And he brings his hammer around to fight back.
So I'm ready for blood.
And does anybody want to do anything?
I want to interject and tell Pent not to. And I say, Pent, stop. Not yet. No. And I turn to Pent on my knees, because I am on my knees, and I say, please, look, if you're angry right now, but you're angry at me, don't sacrifice Imogen's life for your anger right now.
What the hell is going on?
What's going on is that...
telling you or not?
No, we're not. We want to talk. And I turn to Pent and I say, Pent.
I'm not even looking at Grinner. I'm still looking at this.
You don't have to look at
person.
me, Pent. Just listen to me. Please. I'm asking you as a friend. Give us the benefit of the doubt and let us try.
I don't think you know the meaning of friend, Grinner.
I think you don't know the meaning of friend. It's not always about doing everything the other person is going to want to hear or do. Sometimes it's about doing what's best for them, even if they don't think so.
It's about trusting one another. It's about...
It is. So trust me now.
You stare at the Talvashoth, his yellow eyes wide and intense as they stare right back at you.
I knew Cohen is a man named Malik. That is not your name now, Cohen. Clearly. Why?
His voice whistles through the air. How do you know Malik?
I know Malik because he introduced himself to me. He was a man that tried to kill my neighbors back in near Denarum, where I grew up. That is why my friend here is coming at you, and that is why I originally had intentions to hurt you. But until I heard you say that you are no longer Malik, I don't know why. But clearly, and I stand up as I do very slowly, clearly right now, if we all want to fight, we can fight. And I think we all can agree a fair fight will be a very fair fight. But before we do that, why don't we put everything out on the table? There are pieces here that we need to put together to get the whole picture.
So you feel wind rush by you, and you hear a pop as you see the man who you thought was Malik, Cohen, appear instantly.
Okay.
He's behind Rourke, and he's ready. He has what looks to be a scepter out in his hand, and he's waving it about, ready to cast. But he eyes you suspiciously and says, "You recognize me as Malik because Malik is my brother. Was my brother. You say you met him."
I did.
South Ron Hills.
Yes.
What else can you tell me about him?
What's
Imogen doing this whole time? Sorry.
Good question.
Is he bound and gagged?
Still trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and I'm trying to figure out why we're not killing Cohen at the moment. But I did just take up the full defensive stance, just prepared to do anything.
Okay. And where are you situating yourself? Where I had you imagined is that Cohen and Rourke are in between you, Penth, and Grinner.
So I'm behind Cohen.
You're behind.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense as to why we can't communicate to Imogen.
Well, doesn't that make the cheese more binding? But at the moment,
What? Is that a saying?
no. At this point, I'm still just furious again, and I'm just too angry to act at the moment, and I just want to kill both of them. But I don't know how because I can't. I know that I can't cast any harmful spells.
Mycl introduced himself to you.
He did.
Tell me more. What happened?
I watched Mycl die, and as I say this, I want to read his face, because this is important as to what I'm going to say next. 9, 10, 11, 12 plus what is it? Perception. So 15.
And his face looks conflicted. You see anger, you see sadness, you just see a mix of emotions.
I'm trying to deduce whether he liked or disliked his brother. Can I get any of that?
It's hard to tell. I would say that no, you get the sense that he liked his brother.
Okay, good. That's what I was kind of leaning towards. I figured it's his brother,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Yeah.
I watched him die. And how he died was not understanding the powerful forces that exist in this world and thinking that he could ignorantly control them.
Thinking that he could ignorantly control them. That does sound like my brother. But it also sounds like something much bigger than him. Something that we're both a part of. Tell me, when you were in Southbrawn Hills, when you saw my brother die, were you alone?
No. I wasn't.
There was a boy, wasn't there?
There was a boy, yeah.
Very interesting, isn't it, Rourke? The man that killed Mycl. Grinner is your name? Is that right?
Grinner is my name, but I was not the man who killed Mycl. I was there when he died, though.
So he says.
Not helping, Panther.
And you see him, he takes his orb in his hand, and he begins to whisper something into it. And then
Stop
he
that.
tosses it. He tosses it up in the air, and you see the orb turn into a raven, and it flies into the night.
Mm.
How are we to be sure that you aren't the one who killed Mycl? He says as he steps towards you, intimidatingly.
How are you to be sure?
All I have is your word.
I was the one who told you who I was and that I was there when Mycl died.
Very well. Rourke, you can relax. We don't need to kill him.
But I want
Not
to
yet.
talk because what Imogen's saying to you is entirely true. Whatever you think you know about Grindelwald, whatever path you follow, whatever society the two of you belong to, bringing Grindelwald into this world, bringing great powers into this world, whatever naive notion that you think you could do by controlling or following this person, you're wrong. No matter what it is, you're wrong. And
I lean into Rourke as he puts his battle axe or battle hammer down, his warhammer, and I say, Yeah, you should probably put your weapon down, but I wouldn't relax quite yet. Keep looking at it the whole time.
And he grunts. And
he whispers up to the Talbot, yeah, I wouldn't put you back. it's like massive, dude.
I do look up at him, but
it's a stepladder.
And as you say that to Cohen, the raven returns and lands on Cohen's shoulder, and then rolls down and transforms back into the orb that falls into his hand. And he whispers back into it. And do a perception check.
I'm really hoping this orb is not the kind of orb that I'm thinking, where it like can view the past and see who is standing over his dead brother. 13. Sorry, perception? 16.
Yeah, perception. So very faintly, you can hear in a very, very quiet voice,
"Did Greta kill my brother?"
Magic 8-ball.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
We will trust him for now.
Oh, good.
And as he says that, you see 3 upside-down crosses glow. And you recognize this as the same orb that Malik held, except this one is green instead of purple.
So yeah, he's definitely close to his brother. And I kind of walk towards around the circle, wherever we are. Then I kind of say, you need to understand what Imogen is saying. You need to listen to reason here. Whatever society you think you belong to, whatever power you want to bring, whatever creature or whatever form of Grindelwald that you want to put into yourself is not going to simply let you continue being yourself. It is going to destroy you, consume you, and kill everyone you know. These are forces you cannot possibly imagine.
Okay, do a communication.
4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 plus 6, so 19.
And Rourke speaks up too and says, I think that this is beyond yourself and beyond the order, Cohen. And Cohen looks a little less conflicted now. He seems that he's had a very interesting day, and he's ready for it to be over. He says, well then, is this all of us?
And
if we're going to do something about Grindelwald, what do you think that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us are going to do?
Well, first off, you know about us. What order do you belong to? What is the name of this order?
That is confidential. I can tell you about that after. Maybe. If I continue to trust you.
And I walk over to Imogen as we're talking, and I untie Imogen, or whatever he's bound by. What are you bound? Like, I don't even know how he's bound.
He's actually not bound anymore. He was paralyzed, but his limbs are coming back to him.
Okay, and I crouch down, I help him up, and I look at you, Imogen, and I say, we thought we lost it for a while. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Look, we'll deal with that after. Do you remember what happened?
No, but I know that there are people that are no longer with us, and I know it's my fault.
It's not your
I
fault.
know it's because I trusted Cohen and I didn't tell you about it, and I'm so sorry.
It is not your fault, Imogen. It is Grindelwald's fault. Listen, it's Grindelwald's fault. That's whose fault it is, and we're going to make him pay.
Rourke turns to Penth and says, well, is this all of you, or are there more?
You've asked that twice now.
We need to go find Ashara.
We do need to find Ashara.
She was taken by the savages and carried off into the forest.
This is Rourke to Penth.
I know. There are 2 more in the woods.
Good to know. That might be a good position for them. What do we have up ahead? Cohen, have you scouted? And Cohen nods and throws up his orb into the air, taking cue. Turns into a raven again and flies off to the north. It shouldn't take long The Raven will scout ahead and tell us what we're up against. The reason I want to know if there's anybody else, which we now confirm that there are, is because we're going to need all the help that we can get if we're going to be going up against a god, and whoever is summoning them here.
Have you understood how dangerous it is to unleash Grindelwald? And I look between him and Rourke, and I say, 10 minutes ago, the two of you were convinced to absorb Grindelwald into Cohen's body. Look, I understand that you don't want to share your information about the Order, and that's fine. Frankly, I don't care. I'm here for my friend and to stop this god. But I need to make sure that I can put my back towards you.
Without telling you too much, the Order has two purposes. One is to bring about a positive view of mages again in the eyes of Thédens. And the second is to bring down the Chantry and bring down those that will restrict us. Now, the first option, the first mission is more important. We need to maintain our good name. And if we're going to be responsible for bringing a god into Thedas, that might actually work against us. So, while it would be good if we could control this god, to say the least, you've convinced me that maybe this isn't a path that I want to go down.
Very well. And I can honestly say, and I turn to Imogen as I say, I don't think your views are entirely out of whack with the way that we see this world. Look, at the end of the day, there are a lot of mistreated people in this world, including mages. Frankly, Imogen's views, at least for the last little while, are probably more along yours than you'd imagine, which is why I understand, Imogen, why Cohen's words would sound sweet to you. But this is beyond all of us. This is world-crushing evil, a dominance that will consume and devour everything without any restriction. Egos are put aside here. We need to stop this.
And we're going to go to the mid-game poll.
That's right, mid-game post time. And the word of the day is... Anybody?
Raven?
Raven? Sure.
Raven.
That's so Raven.
That's so Raven. Mid-game post is Raven, and it's posted now.
Did anyone ever ask what Grindelwald wants?
Sorry, say again.
And we never asked what Grindelwald wants. Maybe he
Maybe
wants
he's just a
something.
guy.
Yeah. Lonely.
It is. You can still get spiced pumpkin latte. Maybe that's all he wants.
Oh, is there? Seriously? Even
I
now?
don't know.
Oh, you
Never
made me
liked it.
excited for a second.
I don't know. I don't drink that stuff.
It's terrible.
What? It's not terrible. It's delicious.
Pumpkin
What's the last
spice
time you had?
latte?
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Guys, it's
delicious. It's so good. Good game so far, Justin. Great,
Thank you.
great story, and I'm intrigued.
Fantastic role playing, guys.
Have we totally gone off track yet?
Mhm.
You were about to at certain times.
Really?
And maybe you have.
When we almost fought them?
When you almost fought each other.
Was going
Yeah.
fight off track or on track? That's the real question.
Well, or maybe there is no track. Maybe
Oh.
whatever happens.
Meta, though, I got to say, I am a lot more happy that we waited to find out their purpose, because I kind of thought this order was like all about bringing about Grindelwald, but the fact that they're sort of just like mages that want representation does bring it sort of bring, but truthfully, you got it sort of brings them from here threat to like here. Like they're still dangerous, but I'm like, oh, well, that's not that crazy to want that. I mean, we could figure that out. They just thought this was an easy answer.
We could talk this out.
Well, not to mention having a super powerful mage on our team. This is all meta, by the way. To me, is a huge benefit because right now we have Imogen. If he goes crazy, seems like Cohen is pretty damn.
Well, that is a
powerful.
huge benefit, but we literally just met these people like.
Oh, I don't trust them by any means, but
when they literally had Imogen tied up.
oh yeah, but I
Or-
mean, it makes sense, right? Like if they
Not
kind of
literally.
thought, Like, I'm thinking if they thought this was going to be the answer to all their problems, man. But then the minute you're like, hold on, you do realize how fucking crazy this is. And they're like, oh, okay. Because they weren't in that room, right? They didn't see all the fucking blood and guts. So I don't know. It's sort of like the friend of my enemy is my friend type thing. So I'm sort of like, maybe these people are pretty trustworthy. Anyway, all right. We got our first, second, and third. Mr. John Regan, Michael Carl Weber, and Shane Helms. You guys are first, second, and third winners of the mid-game post. Now let's count to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I guess 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Because he wrote that so Raven. So I don't know if that really counts. But Paul Bernhardt, you are 20. I'll give it to him because he did still contain the word Raven. Typically, when people mess it up, it's like spelt wrong or they use a different version of it. But Raven was still in there, so it's a win. So well done. That is John, Michael, Shane, and Paul. Well done, guys. You each get experience points. Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine and all that fantastic jazz. Cool. Well, that's the mid-game post. So let's go right back into the game.
All right.
Take it away, Justin, after this loud round of applause.
So, after a couple minutes of waiting, the Raven returns. And there wasn't much conversation in this time. You still get the sense that Cohen is not telling you everything, that he still seems shady. Rourke seems very relaxed. He doesn't seem intimidated at all by you, Penth, and he's taking out his hammer again, and he's wiping the butt of it. And what are you guys doing while you wait?
I'm with Imogen. I'm with Imogen, sort of like, I guess, making him feel comfortable. Sort of trying to take his mind off things and be like, how are you feeling? Like, are you hungry? Do you want some food? I have a satchel. Do you want some lambus bread?
I'm behind Rourke, just taking practice swings.
How are you doing, Imogen? How are you doing mentally?
I don't know, Grinner. There's just so much, and I want to be strong mentally like you are, and I want to be strong physically like Penth is. I just don't think there's no way I'm the one that should be controlling this.
Imogen, don't try to be like me or be like Penth. Be your own person. Imogen, you have so much good in you. You have so much power in you. And I don't mean the power that whatever this thing has granted you or crafted you. You have so much power in you to do what's right and to be your own person. And stop trying to worry about comparing yourselves to me or Penth. You will do what is right. I know that. I know that you have it within you to be everything that you want to be. You just have to have faith.
Yeah, every time I've made a decision, every time I've chosen to hide something from you because I don't believe the way you do, Grinner. I've never had a life that's been my own. I don't know how to do this. I need you guys.
Look,
I'm so sorry.
When this is all over, you're gonna have your own life, I promise you.
It's back. The Raven soars into the clearing and lands on Cohen's wrist. And he flips it up, and it transforms back into the orb. And he peers at it, and then every now and then holds it up to his ear and looks at it again. And Rourke doesn't look terribly interested, but Cohen makes his way back, and he kneels down and says, "Is there anybody else who should hear this?"
Well, let's all crowd around.
The two that you said are in the forest.
Oh, right.
He says to Penth.
You had to say two, Penth. As I walk over to the ball. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would probably give Penth sort of a...
We can let them know if it is important. I'll relay the message if they need to know.
This is what we're looking at. So you all kind of crowd around, and the green glow of the orb covers your faces as you peer at an aerial view of a clearing up ahead. So what you're looking at is, like I said, a clearing, and obviously the most notable point is this spire in the center of it. The spire that Imogen you recognize. There's a spire in the center.
That's the spire from my dreams.
From
That's where we need to go to defeat this thing.
Oh, yes. You did mention that, right. There appears to be some channelers or cultists of some sort that are powering it somehow. Looks to be opening a fade rift. That there might be a way for Grindelwald to enter from the fade and into this realm, rather than just work through you, Imogen. Other than that, there's a number of tents, savages all around, perhaps 20 of them. And this is the main tent. I wasn't able to look inside with the Raven, obviously, but I seem to hear a woman's voice coming from inside. Everyone else seems to be men. Any ideas?
Well, we can't attack it head on.
Why
There's
not?
20 people there. Well, because we have no idea what sort of training they have. 5 versus 20. Or how many of us are there, did we say? There's 3 of us here, 2 more. Oh, 2 more, so 7. 7 versus 20 isn't exactly great odds, especially if they know we're coming.
There might also be more in the tents.
Yeah.
And what is the plan to bring Imogen with Grindelwald in him straight to the portal he's trying to get out of?
Well, we know with Grindelwald inside Imogen, anyone who were to kill, and you know what, as we're talking, I guide over, what's his name, Esteban or whatever. I guess there's no sense in... Aldo, I mean, at this point, if they're going to betray us, they're going to betray us regardless of what they know. So, well, actually, maybe not then. No, fuck it. Just let him in. Would be my thinking. I don't care. But I would say perhaps if killing Imogen, no offense, Imogen, means that Grindelwald will enter whoever kills him, perhaps bringing Grindelwald to this world and then killing him might be a viable solution.
Now, what do you think of that, Imogen?
I don't... You mean release a god?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of form he will take. I mean, for all we know, he could be brought back to his human form, which would be a lot more killable. This is just a theory. I'm only spitballing. There's no wrong answers in brainstorming, guys.
What if we had someone go in there and cause a diversion so that the savages leave, at least some of them? Then it wouldn't be 20 against 6. Our odds would be better. Someone who's fast, someone who moves in the shadows like a coward. And I look towards...
Hence, you're no coward. Don't call yourself that. But yes, if you want to do that, I'm okay with that.
Esteban gives you a smirk and nods and says, "It is a tactic that I have done pretty recently, actually."
I'm not too convinced that a distraction by a very stealthy person would make as much sense as, say, a distraction by a large person or a slew of large people, while, say, a more shadowy figure slips into that tent and rescues what I can only assume would be Ashara. Having another person on our side to fight would balance the scales in our favor.
What if we destroy that pyre?
Well, for all we know, that could be the only way to end Grindelwald. At this point, we don't know enough. That's one of the biggest issues here.
From my own perspective, I would imagine that the spire is what is keeping Grindelwald tied to this realm. By destroying the spire and possibly the cultists that are powering it. We would destroy the Fade Rift, as well as the key that is binding Grindelwald here. We wouldn't defeat him, per se. He would still roam the Fade and possibly return again someday. But he would be banished from Thedas for now.
Is there any way to defeat him completely?
Well, I do imagine that he is tangible in the Fade. If we were to enter the Fade somehow.
Once the spire is destroyed.
Well, no. If we destroy the spire, then the Fade Rift closes, and there's no way to enter the Fade.
So you're saying we could enter the Fade through the spire and kill him at the source, kill Grindelwald?
But you're talking about fighting a god. An old one is no easy challenge. There might be a way to weaken it, but I don't know how exactly.
What if we... Does he draw any power from this world?
Imogen, do an arcane roll. Arcane lore.
I was actually just thinking, if I don't go into the Fade and keep Grindelwald here, then he's split among two realms.
Mm-hmm.
And not really present on either, and therefore weakened.
Like two Horcruxes.
We'll do that. Is that cunning or is that magic?
That is magic. Actually, no, that is cunning, sorry.
It is cunning.
Yeah.
All right. So that'd just be 11.
So I'm giving you +2 because what you do actually realize is that that is the case. That as a being in both realms, if people were to enter his realm, then he would be half as strong as he would be if you entered it.
So what I propose, again, number one, we need Ashara. And the reason being is we need Ashara and Cohen here to control me.
Why don't you use as much power as you can, Imogen? So that
I agree with Penth, yeah. Why control
I changed my mind. I'm just kidding.
But Penth brings up a good point. If you're the only one here, why channel your energy at all? Why not unleash everything you have while we battle him in the Fade?
And you can even use it against the 20 some odd.
Yeah. Think about easily. Well, he doesn't know he killed all those people, but I don't think you'd be too much of a challenge. Oh, you have some Faust on your face. Let me just...
That's good stuff.
If you stayed behind and let Grindelwald out.
So he's distracted here.
Not to mention you'd be doing away with the 20-odd soldiers that...
How do we get this other mage? The one that helped you guys in the cabin. Aldo speaking.
Well, again, Elzombra. I mean, looking at that map again, it seems to be pretty close to the tree line. You know, slipping in through the back of the tent might be a viable option if there's a distraction on the other end of the camp. Yeah. Yeah, because it's right next to the tree line. We could come in from the east, or Elzombre could come in from the east, maybe one other, while from the west, we created a diversion or distraction of sorts. That would at least pull the attention of the people. If we did that and could rescue Ashara and maybe draw the other people from the tent out.
I would suggest maybe not just going from the west, but going from the west or the east. Yeah, sorry, from the west and maybe the north or the south. So there is a crossfire. Because if we only go from one, they may suspect a diversionary tactic as opposed to an onslaught.
Fair enough. But is that what we want to do? Do we want... So what we're theorizing is using a distraction, coming in through the back of the tent to rescue Ashara, and then everyone but Imogen jumping through the Fade to fight Grindelwald? Is that where we're at?
Imogen being the only one staying here? That would be risky. Because while he would be strengthened by Grindelwald, he would still be vulnerable. And if his body is killed, then anyone who does kill him would have Grindelwald coursing through his soul.
Right.
Until we kill Grindelwald in the Fade.
So Imogen would need someone to defend him.
Someone like
Not to
Rourke.
mention, I didn't see anything about a leader here.
A leader?
A leader of the cults.
Well, I assume
They
it
have
would
to have a
be
leader.
in the tent of some sort.
Right.
I'm sure it's some slack-jaw cultist, ignorant
Like
in his
farm.
way. Some
Like
ignorant
hobby.
farmer.
Hobby farmer.
I could
Gotcha.
protect you, boy, says Imogen. Not Imogen, Rourke.
It's a tall order, Rourke.
Or Aldo.
I don't
All those
particularly
are-
enjoy going into the Fade. I could stay as well, and I sound a lot like this other guy. A little bit.
Aldo?
But I mean, if it really is an army that we're facing, then I think Rourke would be the one to defend me.
Now, it doesn't have to be one, but
Rourke.
the more people that stay up here, the less people you have fighting the old one.
Which is why I think Pence needs to go there. We need our strengths where they're going to be most needed.
Penth, what do you think?
I hate to say this, but Ashara seems to know things that we often think we're too clever and figured out without her. Maybe if we talk to her first and go back to our original plan, maybe there was more to it that Ashara knew.
You mean the original plan isn't just stealing her?
Yes, and then I don't mind killing the cultist in the meantime, though.
Well, I think the minute if we launch an attack, we need to go all out.
Then I'm ready.
However, if we want to be sneaky and slip in and slip out and pull back into the woods, I think the cultists are going to do anything they can to protect that spire, meaning I don't think they're going to follow us very far. Not to mention, let's remember this, and I say this to everybody. All they want right now is Imogen. Right now, we hold the power. They're waiting for him. There's nothing here that says we even need to deliver him. For all we could do, we could go back home and just forget the thing ever happened. So long as Grindelwald doesn't wake up with an Imogen again, and whatever woke him in the first time. But there is a Shara to think of course.
I think we need to go in there and end this finally. It is the only purpose I have now. Let's go in and let's kill Grindelwald. I'm ready to go into the Fade.
As
20
am I,
versus
if I
6?
am needed there.
But 20 versus 7 of us?
I'd be more afraid of 1 versus or 20 versus Grindelwald will not be enough. I feel like this is the more fair fight.
If you're able to quickly get into the Fade Rift and avoid contact with the cultists and savages, then they will not follow you into the Fade. I do not think they will. But what lies in there for them in waiting, I think they're afraid of, even though they worship it.
Then would they not go to sleep at some time? Could we not sneak past them?
I don't know. We might be waiting a long time if we wait for them to fall asleep.
Well, what is there
Cultists and savages? They probably take shifts.
What is
Might
there?
have another way of get closer to the tent, I might be able to have a way to observe inside the way the Raven could not.
Only so many can fight at a time, Grinner. The number is not a problem. I'm not afraid of that many fighting me. I can stand the tides of many men fighting me. Perhaps I should stand and fight 20 if it's the numbers that are the problem, and you guys go in to the fade.
Pence, with respect, you cannot stand and fight 20 men. Unless you plan on dying.
As soon as Grinner says, if you plan on dying, I kind of look away from him. I've trained in the mountains, Grinner. They often fight many men against one. I can do this.
There's also the potential, this is Aldo speaking, that we would be able to speak with the leader. Perhaps find out what they're looking for.
And who says this? Aldo?
Aldo.
I turn to him, and I'm like, now that I did not expect. The man who I was willing to speak with way back when, now thinks we could speak to the enemy?
Listen, I don't think we should be waiting. That's the thing. If we go in guns blazing, whatever a gun is, I don't know. Then
Fists
we
blazing.
do that. If we go in trying to negotiate, then we do that. But the way I see it, this is a portal that is opening towards the Fade, a place that is filled with demons and monsters. And as long as it is open, there is a chance that demons will be entering this world, and that they will be growing their army for whatever they intend to do once they bring Grindelwald into power.
Well, hold on. With all respect, what is on the clock here? We've talked all about pushing, and ensuring that we act quickly. Am I missing something? They can't act until Imogen arrives there. He's the key to all this.
Aldo has a point. As long as the portal is open, they may have a way to bring Grindelwald through so that he is fully in this realm. Now, granted, it would probably be easier for them to have Imogen, but if they get that Fade Rift big enough, then the old one can step through it. And it
so Imogen is irrelevant to actually having...
Hey.
What I mean to say is... no, what I said.
We need to make a decision. I believe that time is of the essence.
Well, how about...
Grinner, trust me. I can do this.
Esteban and I can get Ashara.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to be with the 20, so I'm going to go with Ashara. Well, I'm not a melee fighter. I'm going to be fighting from a distance anyway.
So we go with the distraction. A few of us try to get Ashara, while Penth, or this man, and Rourke try to diverge them, distract them.
Well, you know what? Okay, but hold on. Maybe we can do the best of both worlds. Well, not the best of Penth's world, but maybe Aldo and Zombra's suggestion. Perhaps, I think we all agree here that these people do not mean to walk away from this. There is no amicable solution for them other than bringing Grindelwald into this world. I think we've all agreed on that. But perhaps Aldo's not wrong in talking to them. Perhaps the distraction, rather than combat, could be a conversation while Alzombra and others slip into the tent. Now, the conversation could still lead to a combat, but perhaps at least if we know their intentions, they may reveal some way to close the portal amicably, or maybe perhaps even end Grindelwald once and for all, if we can find out exactly their intentions.
We'd be able to stand at the ready. They would have no way of knowing how many of us there are.
With what?
If I hide in the shadows, If we all stand strategically, ready to strike from different angles.
Yeah.
So, you've got a bunch of options.
Too many.
Too many options now. But it seems like the consensus is that you want to get Ashara, because freeing Ashara is going to help you guys with whatever combat, whether or not she stays in the real realm or if she goes into the Fade. Having one more person is going to help. Also, you can just close the Fade Rift completely, leave Grindelwald where he is, and destroy all the items that are binding him here. And he'd still be alive, but you wouldn't have to fight a god. And, or you could, slaughter everybody or distract them or do whatever.
My logic would be to, personally, Grinner, and I'd probably just say this at this point, I think the best option would be to kill the 5 opening the portal, close the portal, and clear the encampment of people, and not worry about fighting him in his realm. That's just me.
Okay. It doesn't solve the issue about Imogen, though. Imogen still is a prisoner in his own flesh.
Is he? Or I thought closing the portal binded Grindelwald back to that world.
Yeah, so...
but it frees him and he can come back at another time.
He could come back at another time.
But Imogen's free.
You're not sure. You don't know whether he'd be free or not.
Oh, man. But going through the... Well, here's my concern, men. This is sexist. There's not a single woman here. The truth is that if we all fight him and fail in the Fade, then nothing is helped. And furthermore, the world would suffer our issue. If we can't guarantee the closing of the gate, especially with us in it, and we fail, nothing stops Grindelwald from coming to this world. And to me, that's the biggest issue.
So then why don't some of us go into the Fade? And if we fail, then close the gate. A fallback plan. Some of us go in there, and if we fail, if we do not kill Grindelwald, then close the gate.
All right. All right. Well, then look, it all ends in bloodshed either way. So let's just, and I turn to Penth and I say, let's just fight. I threw up. No, let's attack. We'll attack strategically. There's no sense in doing it under cloak and dagger because ultimately getting Ashara out would only divert 2 people that could be fighting alongside them. So instead, why don't we do a full-out attack? Penth feels confident that he can take on 20, and if he can take on 20, then that's good enough for us. But if we take out a few more while he's taking out as many as he can to all of us, I think that would be half the issue right there.
So you're suggesting that we clear the encampment entirely and then decide whether or not we want to go into the Fade Rift.
Agreed.
Before closing it.
Well, otherwise, when we come back out, we still have more people to kill, do we not?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe just keeping
It looks like they're pretty focused. It doesn't look like their minds are even here. They're more objects at this point. So I think that we could keep them alive while killing the others, and I don't think they'd stand to stop us. Because they want the Fade Rift open as well.
Does that make the most sense? Does it make sense to go cloak and dagger? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I can't think of a logical reason. Because if we sneak in through the back door and we steal Ashara, then it's
the only benefit is then we have Ashara to help us fight at that point. If we wait till the end,
she also could be badly beat up or dead for all we know. We don't even know she's alive.
Don't say that.
The chances that
it's a
we can have her on our side. And if we don't, if we wait till the end to free her, they might slit her throat to make it.
Fair enough. Okay, then let's do this.
Why don't we go in through the tent and then start slaughtering?
Well, then you're right. We might as well do the distraction. Why don't you, Penth? Why don't you and Rourke and Aldo take front of the encampment from the west? Elzombra, why don't you approach from a distance from the northwest as well? As Imogen suggested, to not think it's a complete flank. Meanwhile, Elzombra, Imogen, and myself will come in through the back, through the tent, rescue Ashara. At which point, Ashara, as well as Imogen, as well as Alzombre, and myself will come through the tent and attack them from behind. We could all come through the tent, but then ultimately all their intentions onto the tent, and we don't know what's in there. There could be 10 more people. It's a big tent,
That's
right?
what I'm telling you. I could go there now and find out.
How could you find out?
When I was in the Fade, I found a feathered cap. And although I don't physically have it, I can tap into that and use it. And I can control my shadow. And my shadow can move of its own. And it can go in and scout out the tent.
So you can see through your shadow's eyes?
Yes.
I'm not going to pretend what kind of magic this is, but if that's a viable solution, then do it now, for sure.
Should we not know at least what we're up against fully?
Yeah. Well, do you have to be in proximity? Can you not?
Can't. As we were talking to Cohen earlier, a little bit of knowledge is a scary thing.
I don't disagree. Can you put it on now and have him run over there?
You get the sense that you would have to be a little bit closer, that it doesn't take too long,
That's
maybe
what I
30
thought.
seconds or so.
Does your raven, can it fly into the portal?
Oh, that's a question. Quite possibly.
If we do fail, we need a way to communicate back to this realm.
Right. That's good to know. We'll come to that decision when we clear the encampment, though, right?
Yeah, I think that's the best range. I think Aldo, Pent, and the Talvashoth, as well as just those three, coming from the west, diverting however you want. Pent, you're in charge of Team A, and Team B or Team 1 will come in through the tent.
Team A and Team B.
Yeah.
A team and the Team 1. That's fine.
But you're the leader of Team B. But we'll come through the tent, rescue Ashara, and attack from behind. And the reason is I'm a distance fighter. I know that if we all came through the tent and they swarm us, I'm useless. I would die instantly. I can't be surrounded. So I need to keep a distance. So if you guys are dragging all their people to the side, I can be picking them off from a distance. But ultimately, if it gets hairy for me, I'm running out and picking them from the woods because I don't want to die. Okay. So, sound good?
Sounds good.
I'm counting wrong, though. How is this 7? Because I have...
So there's Imogen,
Penth.
Aldo, Penth, and Rourke are Team A. Then there's Cohen, Imogen, Alzombra.
Right. So let's...
Four NPCs, 3...
I forgot about Cohen. Okay. So you know what? I don't think Cohen needs to be with us in the tent. So let's say Cohen can be the person attacking, as Imogen suggested, from the northwest. And Alzombre, Imogen, and myself will be the only 3 in the tent. I think that's fair as numbers, yeah?
Well, why not put Aldo with Cohen? Because if anyone gets close enough to Cohen, he'll need protection.
Sure.
But keep Rourke and Pence together as the main.
Okay, so Penth and Rourke will make the first assault from the west. Cohen and Aldo will swoop down from the northwest, flanking in a small regard the people that are attacking Penth and Rourke. And meanwhile, Alzombre, Imogen, and myself will slice in through the back of the tent. Alzombre taking point and sort of scout out what's going on there, and then we'll go and rescue Ashara. And if we can get her and stay undetected, we'll slip back into the woods and then probably swing north a bit and do a full assault as well from behind them.
Hopefully reinforced by Ashara.
Yes, with Ashara.
So,
Make sense?
Cohen looks back down at the orb, which still holds that picture, and he says, "Sounds good. Is everyone ready to do this?"
Yeah, let me just save my game. Hold on.
All right, good idea. Don't you have a quick save option?
F5.
We're about to go into
program.
a cutscene, so
This symbol is flashing.
all right. So you break. You start making your way towards the clearing the encampment back into the forest to the north. And as you are getting ready to go, is there anything you want to say to each other or to any of the NPCs?
Why? I don't want to know why.
Just for drama's sake.
Yeah, is this like the last
the
chance?
point in it's like, all right, we're ready to do this.
Well,
the
I
point
actually
where we
have
all-
We're
one
going up
eye,
against
yeah.
a god and all of his followers.
So I will go up and I will hug Penth. Penth, thank you for everything you've done. You've made me less squishy. And I have you to thank for that. Now go kick someone's ass. Do it the Penth way.
I nod and I say, Imogen, you've made me more squishy. No. Imogen, when this is over, you will be ready to find your own path. You do not need me or Grinner. This is something you've done on your own. It's not because of Grinner, not because of myself. Because inside you has always been someone strong and capable. I have made you less squishy because I knew you could become the man you are now. I look for you on the battlefield.
But
And I
Penth,
walk ahead.
before you go, you're right. I don't need you or Grinner. But we will stay together because we are a clan.
I sigh heavily and still walk away from him.
All right. And anything from you, Grinner, before you start making your way towards the tent with Imogen?
I'm going to be with Imogen, so I walk over to Penth. And I say, it's been an interesting time, Penth. I can't say it's always been the easiest. I can't say it's always been even the best. But I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And I stick out my hand.
I walk close to Grinner and look at his hand and I look him in the eye and I say, I still do not understand you, Grinner. Well, not everything about you, but what I do know is this. Both you and I have seen something in Imogen, something that needs to be protected. And I believe what you did, even if it means I cannot trust you, I know that you did it for Imogen. And for that, I grab his hand and shake it.
Good luck out there. I know you will give him hell. And then I punch him in the face.
Do it.
I do.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to roll for it.
Okay. It's not a mean punch.
Little bit of blood drips.
Yeah, I hit you, and then as I pull back, I go, I think I owed you that much.
And I smile. And I grab my axe and start.
Wait, doesn't that mean that you now get to have your way with them?
That's why I smiled.
And I just nod to Aldo and Cohen. Don't fuck us over.
They both nod and begin heading into the forest, skirting around west, the same direction as Penth. And before you know it, it's just the three of you, Grinner, Imogen, and Alzombra.
All right.
Well, should we do this? Or should we just go back to Val Rayo, forget everything, have a drink, play some darts?
Well, if we don't make it through it, maybe we'll do that in the fade, or whatever lies beyond this. And I turn to Imogen and I say, Imogen, this isn't going to be easy, whatever's coming, okay?
I'm ready.
What I mean to say is if that thing comes into me, or Penth, or Ashara, you need to be strong, stronger than the rest of us. This is on your shoulders, and you need to do what's right. Can you do that?
I'll let you down, Grinner.
All right. Well, let's get into position.
Doesn't take you long. Maybe about 20 or 30 minutes. Oh, beautiful. Before you get to the established positions. So El Zombre,
El Zombre.
Imogen and Grinner are on the east. And you guys were going to wait for Penth and Rourke to start things off, right?
Correct.
Not necessarily, because I was going to try to send the shadow in. First.
Oh, the shadow. Sorry, yes. The shadow is...
Okay. So, Imogen, you stand ready on the edge of this clearing. And as you guys were getting closer, you were able to hear tribal drums beating, getting louder and louder and louder. And now that you're standing outside the encampment, you hear that there's maybe about 4 or 5 drums beating. They sound like big drums. You can't exactly see them from where you are because the big tent is in the way, but it sounds like they're coming from close to the shrine. And you can see savages dancing around the fire and going up to the mages or the all of the cultists that are casting, and they come up to them and they rub their backs and they feel their skin. And Grinner, back to you.
Sorry, I gave the potions to everybody.
Ah, okay.
I would give one to Penth, I would keep one for myself, and I would give one to probably, well, Imogen. How many did you say? There were 5, right? 1 mana and 4 health?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now don't worry about giving them to the NPCs.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Then I'm going to give one to Penth, I'm going to take one for myself, give one to Imogen, and I'll keep
Save
the other one
one
as
for,
well.
I'll take
Shara,
it for a
just in
Shara.
case.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Well, I can keep it for Shara, thanks. And then the mana one I will give to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold on to it too, because I might give that to a Shara too, depending on how weak she is.
Okay, so Aldo didn't take it in the end. She ended up giving it back to you.
Perfect. Sorry, back to you. That was super important.
Well, how is everybody doing for health, by the way?
I put myself at full.
You're at full, okay. Imogen, you're at full. Grinner was
I
the one
probably
I
wasn't.
wondering about. I think you were, yeah, because when you came out of the fire, you were.
I didn't take any hits, did I?
I did get
I don't think
clocked in the head once by
Well,
Bo.
because the first game, the battle in the house.
No, I never took any hits.
I never took any hits from that.
Honestly, I don't think I've been hit
Yeah, but
once.
But then we had the whole session after we all had time to heal.
No, you weren't
And then
healing.
we got in the fight with the savages.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
you being carried roughly and then thrown on the ground. That wasn't really resting.
Yeah.
You were
But
on-
honestly,
I need-
I'll double check while we're talking, but I'm 90% sure I'm so
You
far
haven't
in this
taken a hit.
campaign.
Well,
I've
then otherwise I'm
never,
down to
in this
5.
campaign, I've never taken a hit.
oh my god, that's hilarious.
I don't think I've taken a hit at all.
We'll have to change that.
Was he
Yeah,
really
let's-
ever really fighting though?
Well, I'm always fighting from a distance if I am.
Okay, so it's just good to know that you guys are at full health. That'll suffice. So
yeah, I was at full health. Well, actually, at the end of last game, Chris was at 34 health.
right, but he got back up to full.
No, this was after he left the fire.
Oh, after he left the fire.
Yeah.
Okay, because you got butted in the head, right?
So I'll drink the potion right now.
Okay, good idea.
Is it a full
And so
healing?
whatever leveled you guys up. Also, you guys do get 1d6 plus your constitution for like the short break. And I'll give you 2 of those, so 2d6 plus your constitution.
So what does the healing thing do?
It's just like a breather. So you can take a breather after a combat encounter. This is a 5-minute rest that lets you catch your breath, tend to minor cuts, abrasions, blah, 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 blah. 5
Okay.
plus constitution plus level in health.
So I went up. I rolled a 3 for my Constitution modifier when I leveled up.
Okay.
So I got a total of 6. So what you said, what did you say, Harlan? 30. So I'll say I'm at 40.
It was 34, but apparently you also took some health from the guy that you held in the fire.
Right.
Right,
Too,
yeah.
so I don't know.
So let's just say I roll how many d6, Justin?
We'll say 2d6.
So I just rolled them.
No,
There you go.
before them?
no
5.
d6, actually. Unless you're using the potion.
I'm using the potion.
Okay, so roll 3d6.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to beat... Oh. Yeah, so you get 3 plus your constitution. We'll just do that.
3d6 plus my Constitution?
No, just 3. Your dragon die.
Oh, wow. That's not a lot at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
And then you also get 10 plus your constitution's 3, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 16. plus 17 or 14. So you get 30.
Nice. What's that? That's the potion?
That's the breather.
Oh.
And I'm letting him take 2 breathers. It's basically you get 5 plus constitution plus level, and you guys are level 7, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's 5 plus constitution 3.
Oh, but that's only during the
plus
rest.
7. Yeah.
I counted
So that's
wrong.
after a combat encounter. So you will be able to.
Something like that.
I think you're at 74 or 76. I don't know. 74 is fine.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, Imogen, you stand on the edge of the woods. You're looking into this clearing. A glow of red and bolts of lightning are shooting towards this spire, and you can't see them directly because the tent is in your way.
And it's
A tent where you hear muffled voices coming from inside.
as scared as I am. I'm going to try my best to get into a meditative posture and a meditative state of mind and breathing. Trying the way that Ashara was trying to show me, so I can relax and reach into the fade.
Okay.
And
Go ahead
work.
and roll for your magic.
Alrighty, so 17.
17. So you manage to slip into the fade consciously, and Grinner, you watch him do this. His eyes roll into the back of his head, and he begins to relax, and actually begins to. Oh, you already got into a meditative stance, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So you begin to relax your posture a little bit as you dip into the fade.
And I reach in, and again, just feeling the hat on my head, as it's always been in the fade now. And I work in and concentrate and slip back into the mortal realm and work to control my shadow as I watch it leave my body and head towards the tent.
So as you watch it leave your body, and you're actually surprised that you are able to actually see your shadow right now. It's the bright red light being cast. It actually does create a shadow for you. But as you come back into the fade, instead of taking your consciousness from the fade and putting it back into your body, you're taking your consciousness and putting it into your shadow. And so your shadow moves forward as if it is yourself. You can kind of see it move forward, but you are more it. And you move forward toward the tent.
And I kind of feel like that scene in Gladiator when he's walking and he's putting his hands through the wheat or the long grasses as my shadow is sliding over the terrain.
Yeah.
And I work in and I try to work sort of around the tent, peering in underneath the tent, coming in from the back, because there would be as you said, the red lights overhead. So the shadows would be more towards the south and the east.
Okay.
And working in that way and just being flat and working my way under. And in a sense, as I work and snake along the ground, try to merge myself with one of the shadows of one of the creatures in there and take a look around.
Okay. So you slither into the room, and nobody seems to notice you. But there are 4 people inside. One of them, right away, is Ashara. She's on her knees in the center of the room. She has bruises and small cuts on her face, and her eyes are closed. She looks like she's meditating, but she seems to be all right. There are 2 savages, like the ones that were dragging you into the forest before. But then there's one other person, and he has his back to you. He's wearing long, blood-red robes, and he seems to be sharpening something at a table.
Okay, so although my first instinct is to run back and let the others know, I'm now looking at Ashara and looking at her bruised face and thinking, can I untie her without the others seeing?
Definitely.
All right. Then I want to work to do that.
Okay.
Nice.
So go ahead. So you start to untie her. You don't even have to roll. You move towards her, and I want you to do a magic roll, actually, to see whether or not you're able to control your shadow to do that fine motor skills.
Nice.
That should do it.
Yeah. That would be 22.
All right. So you begin to cut the bindings that are holding Ashara, and you see her eyes open, and she looks down, and she looks confused, but she stays perfectly still, knowing that she is more in trouble by being bound. But at the same time, you hear the man at the table speak, and you freeze, just as you're cutting through her wrist bindings. You haven't gotten to her ankles yet. One more sacrifice is all we need to open the portal fully. You understand that, right, Ashara? It's the whole reason why your mother left the clan. It's a shame, really, that Alora had to leave. But it is funny that you will be that last sacrifice. And you freeze because you recognize...
This is my father. And I just scream.
Oh, there's a silent wow.
I just like, I don't know if my shadow screams, but I do.
Okay.
No!
Grinner, you hear Imogen let out a blood-curdling scream as...
As he does, I just cup his mouth and hit him down on the ground.
Do a dexterity roll quickly.
Okay. So one thing I'm good at. Well, if I can pull out my bow and stand up in 0 time, I feel like I should get a pretty good bonus to this.
Lightning reflexes. Okay.
10, 11, 12 plus dexterity.
Yeah.
So 12 plus 4 is 16.
Okay.
Plus initiative.
Actually,
18.
yeah.
Right? That's what I was kind of thinking. So 18. Because it's
Okay.
like, it's about going first, right?
That's right. A good call.
So
So
one time initiative comes in handy.
you managed to cup your hand over his mouth before he's able to really make much of a noise.
Because truthfully, and I was going to say this, but I didn't want to interrupt. As he goes in the fade, I would be sitting in front of him staring. And it's more for, not for the scream. I was thinking more if he his eyes start darting, I was going to wake him up. So funnily enough, I was going to say I'm standing right in front of him. So going like this, the minute he goes, would be pretty easy.
And
Yeah.
instantly my consciousness is back in my body.
So actually, before we do that, Penth, you stand at the edge of the clearing with Rourke. And he says, "So have you actually ever killed anybody with that axe, or is it just for show?"
I look down on it, and I see that there's still blood Nikoro on it. And I take a little bit of it, and I wipe my hand on his shirt. You ready to die?
Those are words that I live by. Are you?
I look out at the night, I say, I don't think there'll be many songs sung about our death tonight, but the air is fresh and I'm ready. And I step out into the clearing.
And you hear him follow you casually behind, as in slow motion with your axe over your shoulder. You step into the clearing.
There really should be an explosion behind them.
And Kanye West's Power is playing. Oh, yeah. Oh, as you step out, and the savages who were dancing and hooting and hollering and moving to the drum beat turn towards you slowly as you pull out your axe. And they move towards you.
And I start swinging around my head.
Okay.
And just run to the very middle point so that as many of them can surround me as possible. And when I get there, I just kind of like brace myself and go into a full guard.
Okay. So you can go ahead and roll initiative. And while you're doing that, Imogen, So you come back into your body, and you see a Grinner in front of you with his hand over your mouth.
Shh. Quiet. Whatever happened in there, you are still out here in the world, and we are still 30 feet from that tent. Now, what did you see?
Charizard.
Okay.
And my father. My father is the one that's leading this.
Sorry to interrupt, gentlemen, but I believe the battle is underway. As you hear battle cries come from the other side of the camp, the drumming intensifies, doom, 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 and takes on a different rhythm that Penth, you see, seems to invigorate the savages around you. And Grinner, you hear this, the commotion that is coming from outside, and you hear the flaps to the tent whip open.
From the far side of the tent or towards our side?
The far side of the tent.
Okay. Then I say, then the time is now. And I start working towards the tent.
Okay. So, Imogen and Grinner, you guys go ahead and roll an initiative as well.
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
You rolled a 19, okay?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I rolled 15.
I also got a 19.
What? Jesus.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to do Penth first, then Imogen.
Oh, you're missing. I'm missing a
Okay.
die. in there.
Mine took a while to come up as well. Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. So I've streamlined the combat in this. We're going to be doing NPCs a little bit differently for this encounter. They're not going to have their own turns. Instead, if any of our players hit, then they're going to have the opportunity to use one of the NPCs to do extra damage, just to speed things along. So we have Penth first, we have Imogen, then we have Grinner. Then we're going to let the horde of savages go.
The horde. All right, here's 1 through 20 coming up. 1 hits. 2 hits.
Well, actually, I've got them in groups.
Oh,
So
okay.
each group has a certain amount of hit points, and so you're going to be, well, let's just see what happens. So, Penth, you swing your axe over your head as these savages run towards you, blood in their eyes, and you bring it down.
Unfortunately, I bring it down into the earth beside me as I take the robes that I have off my shoulders, exposing my back full of scars from the whippings that I received at the Amir encampment. And my eyes turn blood red as I make eye contact with everyone around me. As the first scar on my neck across my collarbone opens up and blood starts dripping down my chest. As an aura of just pain and suffering exudes from within my space, and anyone within 6 yards of me starts feeling the pain that I've suffered throughout my existence, throughout my training, everything, every lie, every experience, every agony that I have now, even that I killed the man who saved me, my family dead. The physical pain starts exuding from me and into everyone who's within 6 yards of me.
Perfect.
As I do that, I'm in full defense, still aware of my Amir training.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your 1d6 to see how much damage you do to them, and I'm going to roll 1d6 to see how much damage you take.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So you take 5 points of damage.
they take 10 points of penetrating damage.
10 points of penetrating. Ignores their armor altogether. So, this pain just erupts through them, and you see some of them stagger, and 2 of them actually fall to the ground and begin to writhe on the ground as they experience your bottled up pain fully, all at once. All the pain of a lifetime felt at once. That would be quite the experience. Now, as you are doing that, Rourke behind you is attacking. Now, you get to do bonus damage with Rourke because you were successful in your attack. You would get to do a 2d6 plus 3, or 2d6 plus 2, sorry.
So some of them are writhing in pain or distracted, and Rourke sees the fact that I've dropped my axe and he's bewildered. But he takes his warhammer and he crushes it against the back of someone who's distracted by the writhing pain he's experiencing. 9 plus what, Justin? Is strength? 3?
Plus 2, yeah, 3, sorry.
So 12 points of damage.
All right. He does exactly that. He brings his hammer down, crushing skulls as they writhe on the ground.
Now the blood and everything, the feeling that all these people are feeling the suffering that I have, something about it is satisfying to me. And I feel good. I feel good about the fact that they're bleeding and suffering the way I have. Now, I don't know, Justin, if it stacks, but my Reaver talent, my Novice talent allows me to take hit points equal to their Constitution modifier or half the damage, whichever's lower, if I hit.
Their Constitution would be lower than half the damage.
So what is it?
2. Okay.
So
that would be a
minor action.
So actually, technically,
doesn't stack.
It's not enough. It's you've been killing people, but because they're grouped, I'm treating one group as a.
I don't have to kill them to get healing.
Right. Yeah. I guess this is kind of a system mechanic thing versus actual gameplay.
Yeah.
I'll say that you will get. I'll give you 2. I'll give you 2 for it.
I don't have to. I don't even know if it stacks because that was kind of weird that you could do a thing that gives damage and then I heal from the fact that they're taking damage, even though it's giving me damage. You know what I mean?
Well, they have to die, right?
No, they don't.
Oh, really?
After
They just
this
have to
one.
take damage?
You draw on an enemy's life force into you through an attack, healing you even as they weaken. Once per encounter, take a minor action to activate this ability. For a number of consecutive returns equal to your willpower, you gain health equal to the amount of damage the target suffers.
Okay.
Or your Constitution ability rating, whichever is less.
So
Now,
I'll allow you to do it because it is a minor action. So I was thinking that you moved in there to do it.
No.
But because you actually...
Cinematically, I can feel them feeling the suffering I have, and for some reason, it bolsters my morale.
Perfect. Okay, and you feel yourself gain 2 points of health. Now we're on to Imogen. Imogen, you hear the doors or the flaps to the tent open, and you hear footsteps move out towards the west.
I run in there as fast as I can.
Okay.
Fueled by rage.
So you leave
I
Grinner.
don't understand like who this man is, this man that's my father, and all of a sudden now, like, why did he give me up? And why is he's so ready to give me up, yet here he is trying to bring some god into the world, and this god that's going to destroy everything. And here he is ready to sacrifice the girl that I love, who has no feelings towards me whatsoever, but that matters not to me.
All right. So you run into the tent, and the scene is slightly different than it was before. The 2 savages that were in the room, they've gone. Ashara remains, and her hands are free, but you see her father kneeling behind her, his hands over her arms, and her mouth is still gagged, and she looks at you with intensity. As the man looks up, makes eye contact with you, and says, "Hello, son." Smiles, a jagged, sharp teeth smile.
You have no right to call me son. You are nothing to me but the man who let me go into a world, be a caged rat. You better walk away now while you still can, because there is nothing holding me back from killing you.
It wasn't my decision.
I don't give a shit. You back away now. You walk away while you can.
Imogen.
You know what I'm capable of, and I am not afraid to unleash it if that means it's going to destroy everything about this place.
I've never been so proud.
I've never been so disappointed.
You've done me a great service, Imogen, by coming here. I was hoping that our reunion would be a pleasant one. That if you listened to me, you would hear my side of things. Do you understand why I'm doing any of this? Do you care?
I mind blast him.
Okay.
He's going to blow his mind.
Lucy in the sky.
Dude, you gotta try this, man.
All right, so I definitely beat the spell power.
Yep.
Spell power.
So he's got to do a strength might check versus 17.
Your spell blasts him, and he recoils back, letting Ashara free. And as soon as he's falling backwards, you see Ashara reach for the gag in her mouth, and she pulls it. And she says, "Motherfucker was gonna kill me," and then starts untying her binds around her ankles. But you hear him start to push himself off the ground. And he says, "You're making a horrible mistake, Imogen." And we're going to go to Grinner. Grinner, you see Imogen run into the tent. And you hear him yelling, much louder than he might have thought, pretty much screaming at his father.
Damn, Imogen.
And you hear
I run to the back flap, but I stay on the outside with Elzombra in tow. And I go like this to Elzombra, and I motion for him to go around the tent with this full line where so Elzombra comes to the front of the tank.
We can't see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, yep.
Yeah. So basically the dotted line is Imogen, and I'm telling Elzombra to go on the outside of the tent. I don't like you calling it tank. Well, whichever side is maybe actually this side actually makes more sense because it's probably less towards the violence. So whatever that side. And once he understands and nods, I kind of nod and I enter the tent as well. So what do I see?
You see right before you a man or an elf in grimy red robes, Ashara cutting at the bindings on her leg, and Imogen standing at the front of the tent.
And I enter the tent sort of cautiously, and I see the scene before me. And I look down. Is he on his knees, the father, or is he standing up again, or what?
He's pushing himself off the ground. It looks like he was blasted back by something.
So I see him, and he's standing in the front of that tent, I assume.
He's right in front of you.
In front of me? At the back of the tent?
He's at the back of the tent.
Oh.
Because Imogen went in...
Okay, then I would have done the opposite. I thought he was at the far end of the tent. So then
I would go in where Imogen went in.
I want to be farther away from him, and I want Elzombra to be behind him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So then I would do the opposite. I would go around the tent, and I'd have Elzombra wait for my signal to come through the back, so that he would be flanking him. Is my plan.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I walk into the tent from the front, and I see the scene, and I look towards Imogen, and before combat, as a minor or whatever, I just say, I look at the scene before me, and I say, Imogen, this is your story now. What do you want to do here? Kind of pointing at, like, do you want me to kill him, or do you want me to talk to him, or what?
I want this worm to live with the regret, knowing that everything he's lived for has failed.
So you want him to live?
Yes, but he doesn't have to live well.
All right, so I draw my bow and I fire into his shoulder.
Okay, go ahead and roll for it. It's going to be... I'll give you your plus. No, actually, no plus, because that's only melee.
Yeah, well, I got 8 to aim anyway, so it'll be 10, 18, 19, 20 to hit.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So 20 to hit and no duplicates, which sucks, but that's okay. So I'm going to do 1d6 plus 7. And do you want me to add Els Hombres now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if he's attacking from a flank position, does he get any benefit?
He does. Well, because they wouldn't be aware of the attack, he gets +3 to his attack.
3.
Oh,
Okay,
but
so
that's just to attack roll, not to damage. Not to damage.
Oh, okay. Nothing to damage then from being flanked?
Nope. Just
Okay, that's fine. I'll still roll for him. So he does 1d6 plus 2. I do 1d6 plus 7. So we're going to do 2d6 plus 9.
okay. And describe what El Zombra does.
I will. So that's 11 plus 9. That's 20 damage.
Perfect.
That ain't bad. So I enter the tent, look for Imogen's sort of, guide on this one because I've led him for so long. This is his father. He gives me the okay, so I draw the bow and I fire it. And as the arrow's flying through the air, Alzombre, who's just sitting at the back tent watching for my signal, sees the arrow stick into his shoulder, and without waiting a moment, he dives out as well and drives his dagger into the stomach of Imogen's father, spins around, and then again takes a position between me and his father.
You sure we should not just kill him?
It's not my call.
Easier, Imogen.
And I reach down and grab Shara's hands. Or, sorry, I guess I kneel down, start to untie her ankles.
Yeah, she's pretty much gotten through them now.
And I grab her hand to hold her up, and start to walk out of the tent. I went, do whatever the fuck you want with them.
No, that's you to call. I literally just said, Pat,
You
get back here.
did, but and Elzombro just asked, and I was like, do whatever you want. He's not.
Shara looks up at you as you're leaving and says, gladly, and turns around to face Rael, your father.
Ashara says that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So as this is happening, Penth, you can just out of the corner of your eye see flashes of green light coming from the northern end of the encampment, and you hear battle cries of savages as they're being attacked from that flank, from Aldo and Cohen, and they seem to be doing all right. But you have another opportunity to attack.
So again, my axe is sitting in the ground, blade first, handle in the air, and I look to where the most crowded part of the savages are, and I start just walking towards them. Still, my eyes bloodshot red, as in a long, smooth scar on my back. Healed years ago, starts to open up on my back, and I can feel it as it opens as I walk. Blood starting to drip from my hands as I walk towards them, as I feel the agony.
All right.
As they take another 9 points of penetrating damage.
9 points, eh? Okay.
And it's penetrating.
Yep, no armor. So, your blast, again, sends people reeling, and they cry out in pain as you make your way closer to the center of the encampment. And you're at a point now where you're getting closer to the first caster that is trying to maintain this rift. And you can actually see the rift looks like a tear in the sky, like someone's just ripped it open, and the corners of it are white like ripped paper.
I see the opening, and I kind of look back to my axe, and I walk back over to my axe to grab it, and I start making my way towards the opening.
So you've done a move action to move towards the center of the guys. You'd have to pull your axe out on your next turn.
Right. So we'll just say I look towards my axe then.
Now you could use Rourke.
Rourke is going to continue attacking.
Continue attacking? Okay.
Rourke is fighting in the way that Penthe admires, with such ferocity, as he turns around and he sees one suffering half on his knees, and he just collides his hammer, crushing him headfirst into the ground. giving him 12 points of damage.
Perfect. So that would be that guy. Excellent.
I want to be careful to keep my distance from the casters, keeping the doors open so as to not cause the pain towards them. So as I walked away to cast, I want to be aware of that.
Good call. Like Gallagher with a watermelon. Who's Gallagher?
He was this comedian,
Gallagher's
and that was
that-
his whole act.
Yeah.
Took a sledgehammer to watermelons, and that was
I'm-
basically, ooh, that's so funny.
I'm picturing now for something completely different. In this box, I have arranged 23 blind mice that squeaks at a different pitch and tone. All right, perfect. So that was the top of the initiative order again. Rael, sorry, you saw Rael pushing himself off the ground. It didn't look like he was really able to do anything that round. Imogen, you step back out of the tent and you hear people crying and shouting and screaming amidst the beating of the drums.
And I,
Oh
again,
yeah, the
just-
savages. Sorry. The savages attack back. You know what? I skipped ahead.
no,
I
they
missed
don't.
one of their turns. Sorry. My bad. So, the first group of savages attacks Penth. And Penth, this is going to be... What is your defense?
17.
17 without full defense?
It is full defense because it's a minor action to do that thing, so I can still be in full defense.
It's a minor action. Oh, to do that thing.
Yeah, I'm really powerful right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. So the first group does not manage to hit you. The second group...
The reason
Does.
also is they don't get an advantage also for flanking.
No. Because of your...
My
Because of
training, single weapon style.
Are you in that style right now, or are you in
Good
armed?
question. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a minor action to activate one of those.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the other one stays active until I unactivate. It's a free attack now.
Okay.
Well,
Either way,
you
the
know what? I
first-
put my weapon down, so unless you consider my fist single weapon, which I think we did before,
I think we did. No.
but it's up to you.
Okay. Well, either way, this one does land. This one
Okay.
does hit. So you are going to be taking... 16 points of damage.
Okay.
As they crowd around you, and even though you're walking through, their daggers and their knives slash at your skin. And also, because they got doubles, they get to do a stunt.
Is there penetrating damage?
No, it is...
Okay, so I take 13 because of my armor.
Yeah, because of your armor. Now they've got 4 stunt points, which means
They can make it penetrating.
they are going to... You know what? No, I'm gonna do dual strike. So they're going to attack Rourke as well. I'll apply it to both opponents. So Rourke also takes damage. So you hear Rourke grunt behind you as they also swarm in around him.
It's hard to know how we're doing, Justin. Are there less of them?
There are. It looks like you've managed to down about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you guys have downed, the 2 of you, 8 of them.
Okay.
All right, but there still looks to be quite a few.
Okay.
At least probably about 8 more at least around you guys still.
Okay.
And some of these hits actually came as you were doing this bloody roar, and as Cohen or Rourke was attacking them, they managed to get underneath, even though they were dying themselves. They managed to get a piece of both of you. So next is Rael. So Rael pushes himself off the ground. And he's not able to attack. But he says, Deldarin will kill you all. You're all insolent fools! As he's not able to do anything.
I'm like, look, man, I'm just doing what your son said. I'm trying to make him into a man. You didn't do a good job. I'm trying to give him his own independence, teach him the way. He's lost.
Imogen, we're back to you. So you step out of the tent and you hear the cries and the shouts and the war drums.
Yeah. And again, basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep walking using myself as the center and doing the mind blast, because it's not actually damaging, right?
Okay.
So it's not actually it's
Yep.
not a damaging spell. So I think
It's not actually
right. All it does is knock them over, right?
Right.
They don't take any damage. They just can't make any actions.
Okay.
So I will basically just walk through, just constantly mind blasting.
Perfect. Go ahead.
All right. So again, I do pass the test. Because that'd be 16, 17, 18.
So they're doing might test.
Strength. Yeah, strength might versus 17.
Okay.
If they fail, they fall over and can't take any major actions. If they pass, they're just knocked prone.
Okay. Well, both happens to them this time. The one group that you step towards, that they haven't engaged with Penth yet. It looks like they're more defending the spire in the center of the camp. They don't see you coming, and you manage to cast your spell on them without them knowing, and they all fall to the ground and struggle to get back up.
Just every time I take a step, I'm just rah, rah, walking through the whole thing, just blowing everyone over as best as I can.
Ooh, anger management. All right. So that's perfect. So they fall to the ground, and now we go to Grinner. So, Grinner, you see Ashara in front of you, holding the dagger.
Right. And so is El Zombre in the tent with us too, right?
El Zombra's right beside you, and behind Ashara.
So the three of us versus Imogen's dad.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, all right, look. Your son's really angry right now. You got to understand, I am trying to give him motivation. I wouldn't be this joking. Sorry. Let me think. I do want to say that, though. I want to be like,
yeah.
You have to understand right now that your son is consumed with fear and regret. If you have something to say, talk right now, because this is a minor action. And if you get into my major, I'm going to strike you down. And that is my minor.
He begins to speak. Galdarin Ashlanari. Feltar Sentalo.
Yeah, I fire.
Felias Sentel.
No, I fire. I would.
Okay.
He wasn't speaking what I wanted him to say. Fuck this asshole. I'll shoot him in the head this time. I don't want him to suffer. I don't care. I don't have any regret. Or I don't have any piss off about him. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would have been aiming. So 9 and 8 is 9, 9 is 9, 18. So 17.
It is.
All right. So let's pull this up again. So that's 1d6 from me plus 7. 1d6 plus 2 for El Zombre because he's no longer flanked. Mm-hmm. And Ashara is 1d6. I'm not going to bother with your spells.
Oh, it's just for one of them.
What do you mean?
You just get to use one NPC. So you don't use both of them.
Oh. They don't all attack?
I think in this situation it would make sense if Ashara attacked more than El Zombra.
But she
just
does
to keep
less
it fair.
But
Yeah,
she
I know.
does less damage.
I know.
Fair enough. Well, but okay, but in a role-playing sense, why would El Zombra not attack? I'm totally fine with it, but why would he not attack?
This is less of a role-playing sense, more of a mechanic sense.
Yeah.
So like Ashara would attack on her own turn. Maybe he'll attack on your turn. You get to choose between one of them.
Okay. I'll have El Zombra attack because I'd rather him do a bit more damage, to be honest. So that's 2d6 plus 7, 8, 9. So 9.
9 points of damage?
No. Sorry, just 2d6 plus 9.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, terrible. 3, so 9, 10, 11, 12 damage.
12 damage. So,
Terrible.
you fire, and you see Alzambra throw one of his darts, and he does stagger back a little bit. But you didn't actually hit him in the head. You were aiming for his head, and somehow it seemed to shift. Reality seems to shimmer around him slightly. And you see your arrow sticking out of his shoulder. Okay. And how much damage did you do him the first time?
20. Although I think that was actually wrong.
Oh, yeah? What did you think it was?
I think it was supposed to be more, because I added 9, which would have been my 7 plus Elzombra's 2. Oh, no, because you said there was no bonus to attack. So, no. 20 the first time, 12 the second time. So, 32 total so far.
All right. So, yeah, okay. So, 20 and then 12. So, he is... Okay.
He's okay?
Yeah, he's okay. So he looks hurt, but he continues. He doesn't even falter in his words. Ashara Dendali, Falianta Sandalo. And
shut this fucking guy up.
He's getting angrier and angrier as he speaks, and his eyes start to turn a shade of red. The savages that surround you, Penth, they swing at you again. And they miss. You manage to block all of them, seemingly casually. But the other group continues as well. And they also miss. So
it's like my tree underneath the tree of blades. As I walk through and the leaves are falling down razor sharp, I ignore them and I step under. Still walking towards my axe.
Perfect. And they also, and the ones that are attacking, or that just got hit by Imogen, they push themselves off the ground, and they look around and they turn and they see Imogen, and they begin making their way towards him. And lastly, next we have Rael. So, Grinner, you seem to be calling the shots. I need you to do a willpower courage test.
Ugh. Come on, all 6s. Oh, good. That's close. So that's 16 plus 5, so 21.
Okay. So you see Rael raise his hand before you, and he's muttering these words, and he begins to be clouded in shadow. And you yourself start to feel very afraid. You see the boy again with his hand up, almost like Rael's is right now. And you feel this fear that you felt before. But at the same time, you're able to talk it down.
Can I fake it? Pretend I'm afraid?
Sure, yeah. You just have to do a
Bluff?
communication roll. Bluff, yeah.
No, I'm trying to think, what would the benefit be? No, you know what? I'm not going to fake it. I'm going to, I don't want to fake it to the point of necessarily, doing anything major. I want him to think it sort of worked.
Okay.
Just so that when it's my turn again, I can be like, yeah, no.
All right. Well, we're down to Cohen and Aldo. All right. So you hear them fighting to the north, and they sound like they're doing still okay, but it sounds like things are evening out a little bit. And they might be struggling a bit, Penth. So we're back to the top. We're back to Penth. We've done two full rounds.
The battle seems to be swaying in our favor heavily, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Now that I see Imogen's out fighting, I pick up my axe and I run at the nearest group, losing my full defense. that aura still is going on around me because it's a free action.
Okay.
So they will still take that. I'll still take that the 1d6 points of damage. And I'll still heal everybody, but then I'm going to take my axe and also try to start crushing people.
Sounds good. So go and attack one of them.
All right.
This will be one of the groups that you've already attacked so far.
So 16.
16 hits.
All right. And I got a dragon die.
Yep.
I'm going to make a second attack on a different... If I kill him, I'll do a second attack.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one was 9 plus 3, 12 plus 2 is 15 points of damage.
Okay.
And then, does it kill him?
Yeah, you see that this group seems to be scattering, but you manage to land your axe in them as they try to run, and they collapse to the ground, dismembered and headless.
So I'll heal the 2 points from that one, and I'll make another attack on another person.
Okay.
And that is 10, 13, 15 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay. 1, 2... 7 points of damage.
Okay. So again, this group that's also attacking you gets hit heavily. And describe what you do, because you kill most of both of them.
Okay. So I see Imogen come out, and I run towards them, and there's people in my way as I grab the axe. And the first savage I grab, and I just grab his shoulder and pull it towards the blade of the axe, severing his head, as I turn to the next one and cleave as well. But as I'm doing it, I feel as I twist, again, another scar open up as another wave of agony exudes from me, and all the suffering is cursed into the other savages around. And now I stand beside Imogen, panting heavily.
And you hear Rourke's footsteps behind you, but you stand next to Imogen, who has some savages. Do you guys exchange?
Imogen, shall we enter the rift? Is it time for me to go? Imogen cannot speak, and he decides to come to heal me.
No, I pay no attention to him. I just and push more of them backwards.
Okay. So as you try to speak to Imogen and he keeps walking past you, you feel Rourke's hand on your back. And he looks at you in the midst of everything and says, "What the hell are you?"
It's none of your business, Rourke. We've killing to do. I point to the next savage. That one. Kill it.
Well, the order could use a good guardian like you. And he goes towards the savage and starts swinging. Imogen, so you keep pushing your way through. Mind blasting everyone. Are you taking the MP for Mind Blast?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
This time not as effective. 8, 9, 10. So I just but again, I hear Pent's words and I'm thinking about the rift and I get distracted and just lose it and then realize the savages are still running towards me.
Yep.
I snap back in going, oh shit, where am I?
So Grinner, it's you again. The tent is starting to swirl and ripple with wind that seems to be emitting off of this man in front of you.
I'm going to fire at him again. And I'm going to say, both Ashara and fucking Alzombre attack together this time. Nah.
Oh yeah, Ashara didn't even do anything last time.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to say that Ashara has walked up to him, but seeing that he was actually doing okay, she backed away and decided to cast instead. Okay, so she's cast a spell. You're not sure what it is, but she's stepped behind you and Alzombra.
All right. So 6. And dragon die. That's what I needed. Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, let's kill this guy. So that's gonna be 6, 12, 12, 13, 14, plus 6. So 20 to hit.
20 to hit is definitely fine.
Okay, so let's do this then. Where's my little things? So I have 6 stun points. We are going to do lethal blow, or is it better if I do 2? No, is he wearing armor, by the way?
He is, but it's very light armor, it looks like.
Okay, but it's still armor?
Yep.
No, you know what? I'll do lethal blow anyway. So we'll just do it that way. So it's going to be an extra 2d6.
Okay.
So that means I'm going to do 4d6 plus 9.
Okay.
4d6 plus 9. That's combined Elzombra and me. All right, here we go.
Okay.
For all the bean. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 plus 9. That's 24. Doesn't seem to be that big of a difference, but 24 anyway.
Okay. So the two of you unleash on him once again. And once again, you see his body riddled with projectiles as he takes a step back this time as well. But he continues to stand.
Seriously.
Continues to chant.
Maybe I should have stunned him then. Oh well.
We are at the savages. So they continue making their way towards you, Imogen, running at breakneck speed. And they begin swinging at you savagely, as savages do. Damn it.
You're rolling not very well, which is good for us.
What is your defense?
12.
All right. So though you are a little distracted and you weren't able to get that spell off, and you'd think that they'd be taking the opportunity to actually hit you, they don't. They don't actually hit you. They miss completely. Some distracted by Rourke.
And again, as I see them, because what are they wielding?
Like knives and daggers and stuff.
So again, as I'm like, I'm trying to blow them back, realizing it's not working, and I see the knife come towards me, I just kind of roll with it and roll off his back and off into another one.
All right. Perfect. And as that's going on, you hear Cohen and Aldo again at the top. And it doesn't sound like they're doing too great up there. But they're surviving. Rael. Again, Grinner. You start feeling something else.
Thanks for leaving me with this guy, Imogen, your dad.
Okay, so
It's like the worst guy for me to be doing it against too, because like he just needs to be heavy damaged.
does anybody from the stream want to give me
Trevor
XP to reroll?
Trevor Toth does already.
Trevor
Really?
Toth did, yeah.
Oh, give me a break.
All right, so
Trevor, if you kill me, I'm gonna be so pissed.
now we've got a dragon dice. We've got a
Hold on. How do you count that? What's in the middle of a fourth die being a dragon die?
it's the one that was replaced, the lowest die that was replaced. So it became a 3.
Oh, is that how we're working it?
That's how we're looking at. So
Right.
you feel your blood begin to boil.
Can I not roll anything against this?
Willpower, self-discipline. Yep.
Yeah. Now the people who don't hate me, can they give me a die?
So you're trying to beat a 16.
16?
Yeah.
Come on. Shit. 7, 8.
Okay.
Pop is.
I won't take it. That's fine. So I get hit.
You get hit. You feel intense pain all over, and you find it hard to even hold up your bow as just shots of Yeah, pain shoot through you. And you take a -3 penalty to all tests while it persists.
All tests? Like attack, everything?
Attack, everything, like jumping, moving. You just have to beat a 16 self-discipline.
Jesus, fuck. All
So
right.
you can do that at the beginning of your next turn.
Jeez.
All right. And you see Rael start to back up and start making his way through the flaps.
I shouldn't have said I didn't get damaged. The minute that happens, everyone is like, finally, guy gets hit. Don't taunt the GM. Fuck you, Harlan.
Well, you didn't actually take damage, technically.
Yeah.
I thought it was a damaging spell. Okay, we are to Pentagon. So you see them swinging at Imogen, Penth.
Anyone who's swimming at Imogen, I'll start just slaughtering as well. So
Okay.
I'll walk towards them. Again, I'll take 6 points of damage. Blood is just soaking from even dripping from my nose and my eye sockets. Yeah. My screen just went out, so I can't roll, but I'll roll on the table.
Okay.
So I'll take 1d6 damage if you could roll for that.
Yep.
And then I will roll
2 points of damage.
12. Okay, so I did. Okay, this is for me attacking with my axe. I got a 12 plus my strength gives me 15 plus my axe is 17 to hit.
Yep.
And then 10 plus 15 points of damage.
Okay.
And then I will do 3 plus my willpower 5. So 8 points of penetrating damage to everyone, any enemy who's within 6 yards.
So how much is that?
Total?
15 plus 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So again, you begin cleaving through these guys, and they fall left and right.
And these are anyone who's coming towards Imogen. I'm just crushing as they come by. I say, Imogen, stay behind.
Cuts clean through torsos. And what about Rourke? What is Rourke doing?
Rourke is taking my lead, and he's actually going to be flanking on the other side to protect Imogen's back.
Okay.
And
And
he
is he doing
sees the
any
fact
damage
that Aldo fighting to the north is actually still facing a few, and he starts running that way to start taking them out as well. And he's charging, and he actually spear tackles someone and just starts clobbering with his fist.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage for him.
11 plus his strength, so 14.
Okay. So you see him run off ahead as there is one savage left. He's injured. You've actually connected with him, and he's baring his teeth. And he looks like he's in a frenzy, getting ready to attack as the drums continue to beat.
Who's playing these drums?
There are, okay, so at the north end of the encampment, you haven't really ran into them yet, but the northeast side, north of where the tent is, and just slightly to the west, closer to where Aldo and Cohen are, there are these big drums. And it's actually just 2 drums, but there's maybe 5 savages beating on them.
Right. Like Koto drums or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, Imogen, we're on to you. This last savage stands before you, injured, weak.
And I walk up to him, open arms, realizing that I somehow lost touch with the fade. And I panic for a second, and I'm just so, again, consumed with who the hell this man is. It's my father, yet Brinner and Panther, my ears are falling off. And I just open up and let him attack me. And then as he does swing, I want to, or like goes to cut, I'm going to just grab his arm, breaking it,
Okay.
and driving him to the ground.
So you're doing a prepared action.
Yeah.
All right. Grinner, you see Rael slip through the back of the tent, shrouded in mist.
How?
It was his turn. It was the last turn.
He's just gonna leave?
He backed out of the tent.
Fuck, I would have left. I guess we'll follow him. I'll follow him.
Okay. And Ashara and Elzombra seem eager as well, and the three of you make your way through the end of the tent. Where
I stop Ashara. I'm like, you know what? Fucking just stay here. You're useless. And I leave with Azombra. Literally no point in having her there. It's frustrating to see a third person, and she does nothing. Even if she healed me, that'd be helpful. No, your girlfriend's a jerk.
She could do that, but it's just, it's the system that I set up. I could have used her more.
That's all right. Sorry.
She's been through a lot, Grinner.
Harlan, you got a picture of the fact that she was doing stuff?
Yeah.
Just that we're not taking note.
Nothing that helps.
She was doing things.
I know. All right, I'm going to jump at the back, and I'm going to fire at him.
All right.
Bam! Ooh, it's low.
All
So
right,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to hit.
-3. Racked with
I should
pain.
roll for that first then, shouldn't I?
You roll at the end of your turn.
I thought you said the beginning. Okay. I can roll at the end then.
Oh, so it's just for 1 minute.
Oh.
So it's not, you don't roll to beat it.
So I'm assuming it would be this turn then, because that's the way it would make sense, because it was cast on his turn. So then that misses anyway. I guess it's a good one to have a shitty roll on.
Mm-hmm.
So I, for the first time, I forget to load the arrow. I'm out. I'm like, oh, fuck. I got it.
Okay,
and I will move back in the tent, because why wouldn't I then if I can't do anything? If I miss the shot, I'll step back in.
And Ashara pushes past you and makes her way towards him.
I say, yeah, you go do your job.
And you see her flashes of blue light fly towards him and illuminate the tent. And yeah, we go back to the savages. So it's just that one last savage, and he takes your bait, Imogen, and swings at you. And go ahead and roll your dexterity to see whether or not you're able to pin him to the ground.
So 10, 11, 12, plus my fighting would be 17.
Okay. 17 hits, of course. And you manage to do exactly what you said. You spin around in a way that he doesn't expect, and you pin him down to the ground. And you rise, and you break his arm. And he screams and wails as the drums continue to beat. And as this is happening, it's a 9, you do the damage. You see him pass out.
No, it's only 4. It's only a 4.
Yep. Yeah. He passes out, unconscious. And the drums start to die down a little bit, as you see a figure floating through the encampment. And you see Ashara chasing after this figure and shooting bolts of arcane energy towards it. But it doesn't really seem to be doing much as this figure gets closer and closer to the Fade Rift.
Wow, I wish we had someone with arrows to shoot him down.
I call to Ashara. Ashara. Well, how far away is she?
She can hear you.
It's going towards the rift. Do I need to stop it?
And she's screaming, she's shouting at it.
Not knowing what to do, I turn to the nearest savage and I just cut its leg off so it falls straight. The one that's casting to open the rift.
Okay. So it collapses to the ground, and the rift still appears to be open, but its stream stops. And after a couple of moments, it blinks its eyes and it starts screaming as it lies on the ground.
We can't let it get in there. I call to Imogen. We need to stop it. Ashar is trying to stop it. I trust her. I go to the next one to try to cut off its leg as well.
And as you do, you see this man in front of you erupt with a red light. And the ground trembles as the Fade Rift becomes bright with light. And we're kind of in a narrative time, guys. We're not in
sorry.
Initiative roll right now.
Let's go ahead and click.
As you see Rael disappear into the Fade Rift. And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 9, part 9 of Dragon Age 2. Now we clap. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. As always, thank you to our lovely, handsome GM, Mr. Justin Thomas James, for a cool game. Guys, next week is the finale. Episode 10, part 10 of Dragon Age 2. How is it all going to end? Where is it all going to lead us? I don't know. It's going to be a crazy ending. And remember, after the game next week, we're also going to do a post-game discussion. So if you guys have questions about who's who and what that person meant and all that kind of stuff, that's the time to ask. So make sure you guys are back next week, 8 o'clock, for the finale of the game as well as the post-game discussion. It is going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be really chill, relaxing, because next week is it's the last week of work. So I think the day after or the next day, then we're done. So we're going to be in very good spirits next week for sure. It's going to be a good last game. So make sure you stick around. Once again, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank these guys that sit below me and below me as well. And thank you, Justin, again, our handsome GM, for putting it all together. That is it for me. As always, have a great night. And as Chris always likes to say,
we'll see you around the table.
See you around the table, guys. Good night.